This material is property of the Minnesota State High School League. No downloading, saving, or archiving of this production is permitted.
Afternoon. High school football coming your way from Husky Stadium as the Andover Huskies with a mark of 6-2 taking on the Sauk Rapids Rice Storm, who come in with a mark of 5-4. I'm Joe Rulin, joined by the Tim Anderson. And other than a generous day on Saturday, gorgeous to be outside and watch high school football, we have two very competitive teams.
Yeah, it's a very interesting matchup indeed, as you have a 6-2 Andover team that has two bookend losses to open the season. A really tough one against Robbinsdale Armstrong in their last one, and then of course St. Thomas Academy to open the season. But these two teams met just a couple of weeks ago on the road, and Andover was able to get a 41-17 victory. Obviously, they still have those thoughts in their head, and Sauk Rapids Rice still has those thoughts in their head, and we'll see how these two teams kind of adjust to each other after a couple weeks away from each other.
Very much so. That was a very physical game for the Andover Huskies against Armstrong, a team that went to double overtime. A couple of nicks, so the break probably did them a little good. And we are ready to go as the Huskies will be kicking off, moving right to left. In terms of the wind, appears more of a wind that's blowing across the field than in anyone's favor here. Set up here and the Storm take the kickoff now at the 5, move it down to the near side, try to find a lane, gang tackled there by the Huskies, but not before. They're able to pick it up and run it. That was Gondek to about the 27-yard line, and that's where the Storm will get a look at their first possession of the game. There was some thought about who would be the quarterback for this Sauk Rapids team this afternoon, because they just had a pin removed last week, it sounds like, from Spencer Ackerman, number 7.
So Sam Koulis looks like is the guy instead.
You're correct. It is Sam Koulis ready to take the snap. Multiple formations for this Sauk Rapids team. Takes the snap, looks to the left. Chance here, cutting back, elevating, and come on down with that ball. Amoki pulls down his first reception. He had 37 coming into this game, 685 yards. And this time he elevates and brings it down the Huskies' side of the 50.
Boy, that's a beautiful job right there to high point the ball by Amoki, 6'3" wide receiver, a nice little target on the first play. And that gets them all the way into plus territory. On one throw, nicely done by Sauk Rapids Rights, coming out being aggressive.
Two receivers to the right. They'll hand it off, trying to take it across, going nowhere. In fact, heading the wrong direction. Chris Pepin on the handoff. Comes in with 440 yards on the season. He's going to take about a 3-yard loss all the way back to the 50.
Yeah, tackle made there by a host of guys. And the thing is, if you're going to do that fake, you've got to go hard right there if you're Pepin to try to turn that corner and get to the outside. It seemed like he was kind of stutter-stepping, looking for a hole, and that play just took too long to develop. Sets up second and long and puts the Storm behind the chains.
Sauk Rapids averaging 171 in the air this year and 120 on the ground. We've got 4 receivers to the bottom side up top, and boy, that wasn't a good pass. It looked like the quarterback there had lost the grip on it, did Koulis, and tried to reload, and it went far over the head of the lone receivers. That was a 5-receiver set. Unable to get it anywhere near the receiver on that.
You knew you wanted to get the ball out quickly. You wanted to go to a Moak, and he kind of faked like he was going to do a quarterback draw, and I think he was hoping to draw in the coverage, but it was not a good enough fake, and then the pass was obviously a million miles over the head, which sets up 3rd and long.
Huskies with that 3-4 defense have been playing extremely well. We have 3rd and 14 now for the Storm. Dropping back, looked to set up a screen, almost picked off, but getting there in front of the ball and taking maybe about a yard loss on that screen pass was Pepin.
Yeah, Kyle Mock in on the stop there for Andover. And again, the idea for the screen is you got to try to buy some time to set that up. And when you don't get enough time to develop that and that defense comes in fierce, that play can get blown up pretty quickly, and that's exactly what happened. So after a great start on the opening pass play, they get it to midfield and then stall out, and now they punt.
And
a bad snap.
Over the top of the punter, trying to give chase and trying to get this thing off. If he has a good job of getting the ball and getting the punt off, all said and done, it's going to be probably about a 10-yard punt.
Well, I'll tell you what, all said and done, the 10-yard punt is way better than the alternative. That was a really good job of just getting that off.
And that snap was airmailed completely over the punter's head. And not a chance to bring that thing down. But the Huskies get the ball on their first possession.
I think we would call that an inauspicious start right there. I think that would be the word we would use.
You got it. So we've got it here. First possession here for the Huskies, and taking the snaps will be Joseph Mapson, the junior, having an outstanding season as the Huskies have the receivers 3 to the right. They'll hand it off. There's a gap. There's an ounce. There's a chance, and there's Myers. Myers gets by initial fire, cuts back. Now it's a chance to take it to the house. Circles, pirouette, now bracket and tackle, and now they're going to carry him in. That's a Huskies touchdown as he got to the 5, and support came to his help. And Myers on the carry will pick up about a 57-yard touchdown run on the opening play.
Untouched for the first 40 yards of that run. Myers had all kinds of room to the near side, and the Storm finally tried to close the gap. A couple of nice moves. But then you got to credit that team for Andover coming down and really pushing Myers into the end zone, and that was pretty darn easy.
Caden Hansen into attempt the extra point, the snap, the spot, the kick is all good. Hansen just missed 2 extra points this whole season, and now the Huskies have that 7-0 lead. You can't have a much more explosive play on your first possession and that first play.
No, you're certainly right, and that
was not inauspicious.
No, that was not inauspicious. And we talk about like getting punched in the mouth a little bit, like that is exactly that. Sauk Rapids Rice came out. They got the big completion to start their opening offensive possession. It stalls out. The one thing you can't do is just let them have a big play on the first play. You got to try to hold them back a little bit on defense and offer some resistance. That didn't happen right there. And now Andover got everything they wanted. They got the crowd into it. They got the intense stop. They got the big possession on special teams, and then they got the big explosive offensive play. Got everything they wanted there. What a start in the first 3 minutes for the Huskies.
Yeah, the Huskies scored 299 points. Add that 7 to that. 306 points on the season, surrendered 182, but they've outscored their opponents by a margin of 76-30 in the first quarter, and that's consistent with the start they've had here on a Saturday afternoon here from Husky Stadium. 7-0 lead as the Huskies send it to the goal line and touch the ball and sets the foot. We'll do the touchback there for Sauk Rapids. Curious to see if they can afford to continue on that quarterback play. As I mentioned, Spencer Ackerman throws a great ball, spins it extremely well, lost at the second game of the season with a broken thumb. And finally coming back here late last week, it sounds like. But they're going to stick right now with Samuel Koulis.
And they're going to keep spreading it out here and continue with 4 wide receivers, bring a man in motion.
Moving near side here, the handoff. Near side, finds a gap, a good seam, and there's a pickup for Pepin of about 7 on the run.
I like that play call there, Joe. If you're going to spread everybody out, let's try to get something going between the tackles and get our running game established. And we need to possess the ball here if you're Sauk Rapids Rice. They need to have time of possession because obviously the big plays are going to come for Andover. So they need to possess it as much as they can and grind out possessions on offense.
First time, they met this season was a 41-17 win for Andover. That was on October 11th. Handoff, fake the handoff, a quick throw out to an opening seam, breaking one tackle and powering ahead and getting some bonus yards to the 42-yard line. There's Zabransky on the reception, his first of the game here for Sauk Rapids.
Yeah, I like that play call as well. You use some play action, but that's the thing. If you establish the run, you can do things like that and do some play action and do some quick outs. get your guys involved on the perimeter. See if you can't stretch out this Andover defense. That time they pick up the first down.
Move here to receivers near side. One in the slot on the far side of the field. They'll fake the handoff, get it out to the flat, and that could still be a lateral. Finally going to pounce on top of it after an incomplete pass / lateral attempt to Mason Zabrowski.
They called that a backwards pass, so they did have to go and recover that, and that's going to set up, I think, at least it looks like that's what they're doing. Yeah, so they're going to set up second down, and now they're asking, I think, for an official timeout because I think they want to double-check to make sure that that was a backward pass and not simply a funky-looking forward pass.
Well, and we're experiencing a little bit of wind now that is blowing. It looked like it was across the field. Now it looked like it's moving from right to left, which means if you throw that into that wind, maybe it carries.
You could already see the adjustments that Coach Tom DeVellis is making with his defense as well, because they've sensed that, all right, they're going to try to throw on the perimeter. They're going to try to throw these little quick outs. So we're going to move the safeties up and play a very tight like zone cover 2 over the middle. And they're basically saying, all right, you're going to go out and throw those passes, but we're going to be right there. We're going to play tight on the receivers on the outside, and we're going to anticipate those throws.
Huskies defense, 55 tackles for losses so far this season. A pitch outside. We're going to get a holding call here.
Yeah.
A couple of flags are down, and boy, they're not going in the right direction right now. Sauk Rapids says.
Well, none of this looks real crisp for the Sauk Rapids Rice Storm, and I think what you want to do here is the stuff that looks crisp is the stuff that happens quickly. Hand the ball off on a straight-ahead run or a little draw or a little delay. When you try to do these little option pitches and these fakes, unless you have got this really dialed in, those plays don't tend to work as well because they're just, you need speed. You need time to develop this stuff. Now it's second forever.
Well, they're going to decline. Did they decline? Because they have third down up right now.
I think they did decline it. Or third and it's third and 30 yards almost here.
Moving it back, waiting for the snap. They get it, try to do it. A quick out and almost a pickoff as the wide receiver, Zabrowski, that time lost his footing. And they're trying to pick it up and get the interception. Defensively that time was Jaden Setz.
I'll tell you what, if I'm the Storm, I want to simplify things on offense. I want to run I don't mind spreading us out doing 5 wide receivers. In fact, I kind of like it. But you got to be able to just run the ball up the middle between the tackles in those situations. And then when I'm going to use the receivers on the outside, let's use it on play action and get the ball out on a 3 count.
They're going to punt. It's 4th and 32. And again, I think they're hearing it from the head coach over there. I still think there was some sort of confusion if it was on a down or if this time he's arguing an interference when the player went down.
Yeah, Philip Claphake is definitely getting his money's worth in this conversation, no doubt about that. And some of that might be just to buy a little time here as well, because he's clearly his guys feel a little on edge
and a little rattled here. They're going to have to snap again as they near the shadows of the goalpost here in the day. High snap again, brought down by the punter. Now Andover end, fair catch, good decision there. On a windy day, that ball's knuckling, and Myers draws the foul catch, and the Huskies will start their second possession here in the first quarter on their own 48-yard line.
Yeah, 7:21 to go here in the first quarter. They've already sort of established themselves defensively, and now they offensively had the big play already, and now we'll see if their offense stays on the field longer than one play this time.
Setting it, and they have just caused havoc here in the first couple of possessions as the defense for Andover for the Sauk Rapids offensive unit.
And the energy's good on a Saturday afternoon, too. You always wonder how teams are going to respond on that, but so far it's been great.
All that in motion, and they're going to keep it. Good cut back here. Mapson continues, cuts back even more, has a running path, has a wall with him at the 15, down to the 10, down to the 3. They've run 2 plays and have scored 2 running touchdowns of 50-plus yards. Andover's up 13-0.
I mean, there's just no resistance or physicality from the Sauk Rapids Rice defense. I mean, it I'm a little surprised here at just how easy this is for the Andover Huskies.
Coming into the game, Mapson had been running for 445 yards on the season and 8 touchdowns. He'll add to that portfolio now with 9 touchdowns when he's rushing the ball. And the Huskies at 13-0 on for the extra point. Just Cade Hansen. That is good. Well, you can't execute any more efficiently than what the Huskies have offensively. 2 plays, 2 touchdown runs of 50-plus yards, 2 extra points, and a 14-0 lead, still with 7:08 to play.
Well, that time they get Mapson involved, and he has all the room in the world and is able to make some guys miss. And, again, not touched for about 35, 40 yards on the run, and you just need to be more physical than that if you're Sauk Rapids Rice. You've got to be able to at least offer some resistance, and they just haven't been able to do that. They have been pushed back at the point, both at the offensive and defensive lines, and because of that, they are on their heels here.
Mapson's averaging 63 yards a game rushing. He picked up 52 of those already on his first run. And for Meyer, a 57-yard run on his first opportunity with the ball.
And the Huskies fan section couldn't agree on what theme to go with, so they have costumes, jerseys. They've got all kinds of stuff going on down there.
TBD. Kickoff here last at about the 5 by. A chance here, the Storm cutting back, trying to create it, now going for the strip. The Huskies on the tackle. Good play, good setup. Setup here for the Storm at about the 31-yard line for their third possession here in the first quarter. It was Gage Router on that tackle on the kickoff.
So we'll try it simple this time. You got to run stuff that you feel really confident about that you can execute quickly. Anything that involves, multiple fakes and options and stuff like that, I think you got to throw that stuff out right now because you don't have the speed laterally to do that against this defense.
Tenacious defense it is. Trying to pump fake, trying to go deep to Omok, and hey, it worked. And that was the only play that worked in the first couple of possessions, and this will be an interference call on the Huskies.
I would run more of that because it appears right now that the one kind of target you have that's a tough matchup for Andover is Omok. So I would try to take a stab once in a while here, at least maybe once every other possession to go down the field with him. And especially if they have him one-on-one, you got to throw it up to him and let him high point it because he's going to win that battle 7, 8 out of 10 times against some of the smaller corners for this Husky team.
Amoki came into this game with 37 receptions, 685 yards, and a couple of touchdowns, averaging almost 19 a reception. That was obvious on his first reception on the first play of the game for the Storm. Now in motion. They'll move one wide out to the left and hand it off, and we've got motion and an illegal procedure probably call here for the Sauk Rapids.
So once again, they get a first down, they get out towards midfield, and then they immediately go backwards, this time with a penalty. And it takes you completely out of your playbook. You can't run the stuff you want to run. At 1st and 15, you got to do something completely different than maybe what you intended on doing.
This the third meeting overall between these two teams. Andover so far leads. The meeting is at 2-0. They won last year, a home game here, and they won on the road 41-17 at Sauk Rapids earlier this season. Tackle there, and boy, they're jumping the zones, and considering you got a pretty good offensive line, pretty good size here for Sauk Rapids.
Yeah, but they're getting beat at the point. Tyler Phillips was basically in the backfield, took the handoff. We have an injured player down for Sauk Rapids. We'll take a look here in just a second and see who that is.
But as we look on with that, hey, some great local football outcomes last night. Champlain Park, a winner in their first game in the state tournament with a field goal in the last closing minutes. That impressive. Congratulations to the Rebels.
Always good for a 3-6 upset somewhere in that 6A playoff. We got that 3-6 upset last night as East Ridge, who last year pulled the 3-6 upset. Now this year they lose on that side of it.
I know that Blaine picked up a win on a last-minute field goal to beat, I think it was 29 yards out with, I think it was 7 seconds when they pulled the snap on that field goal to defeat Rosemont. And then, of course, last night, you and Jim Childs had the call for the Anoka win, and that was kind of a rout.
Yeah, it was a good win for the Tornadoes to, get themselves to that big matchup against Lakeville South in round 2, hosting that game. But it was really another just solid night where you got to see a lot of the future of Anoka play the second half, as most of the starters were out of there at halftime, and it's a big win for that team. And so everybody, and the North did well last night, I guess you could say. So if you're cheering for those North schools in these playoffs, you had a lot to cheer about last night.
Chris Pepin was the injured player for the Storm. Pepin is also the leading rusher for the Storm this season. He came in with 440 yards rushing and 4 TDs, averaging 55 on the ground per game. And
it's truly been a committee for the Storm this year as far as getting lots of guys to contribute on offense in the running game, and now they'll have to depend on others, as Pepin got off on his own power but did go rather slowly.
Sauk Rapids picked up a 34-12 win in the first round of section play. There's another fumble covered right up by the defensive line of the Huskies. Boy, you could see that from here. That might have been Weichel who gobbled that up. What? Just the exchange again. That's another case of just not clean.
Yeah, it has been it's been a rough one here so far for Sauk Rapids Rights. I think they'd like to go back and maybe start over here if they could. If they can get a mulligan and get this back to the 12-minute mark and start the game over, I think they'd like to do that, because this has been a nightmarish start. I know we're pretty close to Halloween and there's parades going on, but that's about as close to a Halloween nightmare as you're going to get.
Mapson on the slant inside. Some good running room here. A flag comes down on the far side.
It looked like Bagali, who got this first action of the game, and he is down a little slow here.
Yeah,
he was a little banged up coming in.
Number 76 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Nope, and they'll get a penalty on this anyway, and the injured player. Bagali took a hit on that slant, and that's a concern.
That is, considering Huskies hold on. The probable next game is going to be at Elk River, the number 1 seed in Section 7, a team they've defeated earlier this year, but I think they'd probably rather go to Elk River with a more healthy Bagali than I think this.
There was a lot of thought that he wasn't even going to play today, and it made sense to hold him out if he probably could, but they decide to get it to him here on this possession, and he's going to get up a little slow. And he's, not putting a ton of weight on that leg. So we will have to wait and see on him. Hopefully he's okay.
Bagali, one of the top receivers. Last year, certainly the top receiver with about 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns on the season. But this season, they've been spreading it around a little bit more. Bagali came in here with 380 yards receiving, 13 reception, 5 touchdowns. Not up to what he had last year, but certainly different dynamics from that team.
Yeah, they're not running as many plays.
Set up now after that hold. It's 1st and 20 for Andover. Mapson. To me, it's not like he's cutting quickly, but he's very methodical in his running. He follows the blocks.
Running style, Joe. You're absolutely right. He waits for things to open up. But this time I at least appreciated that Sauk Rapids kind of at least offered some resistance, jumped into some lanes, and forced him to make some decisions quickly, sets up 2nd and long.
2nd and 14 it is. Mapson claps his hands, gets the ball, snaps back, looking deep. He has a receiver open down the middle, but he'll move out to the right. Still a receiver behind the defense. I don't think he can see him, but now there's a different receiver. This is going to be Myers, the running back, and we may get a holding penalty. That was a lot of time.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to come back, especially when you go the other way. They're bringing this right back, and I think this is going to be like illegal hands to the face potentially. We'll see what the ref has to say.
They will reset this.
But everybody's walking back slowly, so I think we know that this is going to go on Andover.
First holding penalty was on Blaine Raisler.
Boy, they had all day to throw that. I mean, he was just continuing to run and make time for himself.
And certainly had his choice of receivers.
Yeah,
and
Myers
one
was
receiver
just sitting
behind the safeties already.
All right, I think they finally have this sorted out.
Andover, number 76, illegally down.
Yeah, that's the one where I think that's the common one in this one, too. As the longer you have to hold in pass pro, the longer that's going to go.
Number 2 on the defense. Excuse me, on the offense on the scoring team. No score. There's no score. Second down.
All right, so we back it up, and that's a big one, too, because there's an unsportsmanlike in there as well. I mean, this is it's a big penalty here. It sets up second down and forever.
The ineligible receiver was number 76, Holden Bieberg, and then Myers was giving the 15-yard penalty. Wow.
So that's a double whammy there.
Dialing it up here for 2nd and 40 now here for the Huskies. Try to find some opening on a screen, but shut down. You just never know what's going to create momentum. And certainly the Huskies had that in their first 2 possessions. The next possession, first time out, Bagali gets injured, and a penalty whistled on that call.
Yeah, the Bagali, and that goes for a holding penalty as well on the same play. So you lose Bagali, you get a holding penalty, it puts you behind the chains. And you're right, you become a little easier to defend when you're at 3rd down and 40.
Set here now, let's see what the Huskies can draw up, as they've had a chance to get some receivers deep.
3rd and 34, I'm sorry, I misspoke. 3rd and 34, Joe.
3rd and 34, yes. Mapson's going to drop back, set up a screen, and got it covered. Nice play, great defensive play that time by number 44.
And now we got a late flag. I wonder if this one's going to go on Sauk Rapids.
It's definitely turned into a flag party.
Yeah, I know.
That was Xavier Thurston who had that screen pass covered to Myers. Myers.
Unsportsmanlike foul on the defense, number 44. That's a dead ball.
Yeah, so that's after the play.
15-yard penalty, 4th down.
Yeah, it's still going to be 4th down and 30 or 4th down and 25, so you're still going to probably punt. But you know what? It's a really silly penalty to take right there. I mean, you're down by 14 points. It's in the middle of the first quarter. Like, what do you just make the tackle and go back to the bench? And I don't understand how that happens in these games, but it does tend to get chippy. I understand those things, but man, we gotta keep our eye on the ball a little bit there. But a good job by Sauk Rapids Rice. They force a punt for Andover, and this is the big momentum change. We'll get a timeout. Sauk Rapids Rice didn't see something they liked, and so I think they're going to call and maybe look for a potential fake.
Sauk Rapids, that's their first charge timeout of the first half.
It's 4th and 24 for Andover. The Huskies had a very crisp and efficient first 2 possessions. In fact, a running play from 57 yards out on the first play for the Huskies on their first possession. That by Myers. He took it to the house. And then their second possession, second play of the game, Mapson also made a house call. That from 52 yards out. And just after 2 offensive plays, Andover had an early 14-0 lead.
But that was a big one for Sauk Rapids Rice. Had to get a stop, right? I mean, and that just get some momentum. I like the way that they were kind of rushing to the football. They were making plays. They were cutting off angles. They just looked a lot more into the game defensively on that possession. We'll see if that helps translate to the offense a little bit. They need some momentum.
Let's see if they can get it on the punt return. There's the snap. It's back. And the punt.
Not a great one.
A sidewinder that's going to bounce initially at about the 25 and takes a Husky hop all the way to about the 11-yard line. It's about a 14-yard bounce on that punt by Jack Brandel. So Brandel connects there, the senior. And now it'll be the 4th possession of the first quarter for Sauk Rapids as they come back out on the field. Let's see if there's any changes in who they're going to run out there and maybe look at some changes. The reason why is I know they have number 29, Alex Zimmer, as another quarterback. He's a sophomore. He's certainly had a little bit more success
that
throwing
might be
the
him
ball.
right there. You're seeing it.
There it
so
is.
there you go. You made the call. That's absolutely right. That's what they've gone with here.
Different possession, different cadence maybe. Coming in on a fierce rush, trying to shred here. That was almost picked off by Weichel as they tried to do a middle screen and went off the receiver and almost into the hands of Weichel.
Well, they're bringing pressure. Andover's not messing around. They're bringing outside pressure this time, trying to challenge the offensive line, saying, we don't think you can stop us. We're going to try to bring pressure and force you that ball to get out of the hands of the quarterback within a second.
Huskies
that time almost led to a pick.
You bet. They have 17 sacks on the season, and coming into the game, 55 tackles for losses. They've also forced 12 fumbles on the season, 3 interceptions as well. Second down, making the handoff, rolling now to the right, trying to get it down the field. Finds a receiver. Good look, and a pickup and some big positive yards, close to a first down for Sauk Rapids. After there, the completion to number 5, Jalen Hansen Didadet.
Yeah, senior wide receiver, 5'10", little target. And again, when you have 5 guys on the field, somebody's got to get open and do it fairly quickly. I like that they rolled him out right there, gave Zimmer a chance to kind of roll to the strong side where all the help was and see if he could find one opening, and he did.
Zimmer certainly seems like he's a little bit more comfortable throwing that ball. Of course, that was just 2 passes that we've seen thus far, but the release and everything else seems to have a little bit more command, as they need to rush it along as there's just 5 seconds left.
Yeah, well, they were subbing out the quarterback too, so
yeah.
they took Zimmer out on this play.
And they'll set up the run, and Fortune ahead, picking it up, and that's, hey, the game plan there is Riedemann back there as the runner. And, hey, if they know they're going to run it, let's load that backfield, get the blocking scheme set. And that's exactly what they did with a handoff to Riedemann on that play. First
he's
down.
kind of a big wildcat running back, so he's not really necessarily a quarterback for them, although I'm sure he's capable of throwing the ball. But I think they like him to run in these downs because he's a big target and he can break a tackle or two.
First down now at about the 25-yard line. Riedemann quickly comes back to the offensive line and resets. He's a 5'11", 180-pound wide receiver typically. Takes this snap. Slowed down by Flo up front.
Now, this is sort of predictable as Zimmer comes back in, so when Riedemann comes on the field, I think you have to know that that's probably a wildcat situation. But I don't mind adding that wrinkle to the offense. You're giving Andover something to look at. And again, 2nd and 8 is way better than 2nd and 13, 14.
Zimmer looks over to the side here with 20 seconds. Plenty of time left on the play clock. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left in this first quarter. Andover a 14-0 lead. Early in this section play, getting through the line easily. And now a chance, tossing it up, trying to go deep to Amok. Amok comes back for the ball, and it goes through his hands as he had to do a complete 360 and then turn back to his quarterback. As we'll get a whistle on the play stop here as the officials having a conversation. Wondering if they thought he was over the line of scrimmage.
That's possible,
when he
yeah.
released it.
Well, Tremaine Davis was attacking, and he got into the backfield in a hurry for the Huskies, and I thought it was close. I thought it was very close for Zimmer, and he threw it into quadruple coverage, but that's how much confidence he has in Amoki as he tries to come back and almost make that catch, and they're going to get him. And that's a brutal penalty to take. You just can't. You can't do it. You got to know where you are, and that's where I'm surprised he didn't just run anyway.
It's the 8th penalty called on both teams, whistled here in the first quarter.
I think if he keeps that thing on the ground, he's got a first down. There was like 10 yards, Joe.
He certainly did. And the sophomore takes the snap. He'll lose the down as well, the yardage back. So
everybody jumped.
12.
Everybody jumped there.
Goodness.
Man. Oh, we got to watch ourselves here. And Tremaine Davis needs to be careful, too, as Tremaine Davis is having some words and exchanging there with Jake Thel. And in the backfield, that's just not a place for the defensive player to be.
There are 2 penalties on the play. False start on the offense. Unsportsmanlike penalty on number 72 on the offense.
Yeah, they'll call that on Thel. Thel gets that on Davis, so that's going to back them up even more. And see, that's the other thing. Now both teams are getting under each other's skin here a little bit. And I think that's got the St. Cloud or the Sauk Rapids Rice fans upset.
Such a big offensive line. Thale is 6'6", 285. Their center as well as some pretty good size. And then Hayden Brown, a guard at 5'8", 280.
Well, another offensive possession, Joe, that is undone by giant penalties. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's been a really sloppy first quarter.
Zimmer back behind, center ready, waiting to snap. Shotgun formation here, looks across the way, gets a nice seam route here that'll get him near the initial line of scrimmage, but then brought down after about a pickup of 15, 16 on that play. But the catch was made by Winkleman, but not nearly enough for a first down.
Well, you get out of the shadow of your own end zone at least. It allows you a chance to punt this thing away. Gives Riedemann some room.
South of 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Another punt, but the last couple of snaps back to the punter have gone high. One completely over the top. This one, a good snap, good high kick. Wobbling there, Myers has it underneath it. Fair catch. And the Huskies will start it at their own 45-yard line, and this will be their fourth possession here of the first quarter. The first two able to convert for touchdowns. Andover came in this matchup here, averaging 142 yards per game passing and 210 yards a game running. They'd scored 27 touchdowns with their running attack and 12 TDs in the air. Bagali, I got to think, has to be done for the day. Unless something comes up where he's absolutely needed.
There.
There's a pitch out to the left. Now trying to get wide is Myers. Shirt tackle that time. He's brought down after a pickup of one.
Xavier Thurston comes in and just says, I'm going to grab a hold of the shoulder and just bring you to the ground. And, yeah, Bagali is out there on the far side. So that's a good sign, actually. It's very good. You don't want to see him get injured. Nice to see that he was able to kind of walk that off. So second down and 9, they pick up just a yard there.
Receivers set here, just on the lone side here, and set below Jack Brandel. Gets a quick pass, breaks a tackle, forges ahead, picks up an extra bonus 5 yards and a first down for the Huskies. Now they're kind of getting into that rhythm, that cadence of style instead of kind of some spurt and start stops plays.
Well, when you hit those big explosive plays, it's great, and obviously you don't trade them. But the downer is you do get out of rhythm a little offensively because you're not really getting into a plan. But that's okay. You don't trade that.
Myers, a couple of jump cuts and forges ahead for a pickup of 4 for Brandel, his 8th reception of the season. He has 70 yards receiving and a touchdown. And we'll move it back out again here as we, I think, may see the end of this first quarter come to an end before they take the snap.
Yeah, the longest first quarter maybe in football history here. It just feels like it's taken forever to play.
Joseph Mapson will get the snap just in time. 5 seconds left here in the first. He's going to get hauled down, and now he just throws it.
Ooh, and he might have just been out of the tackle box there. Otherwise, that's grounding, but he, I think, was just out of the tackle box, and I think the refs are going to make sure that that's the case. And, yep, he was out of the tackle box when he threw that, so it's just an incomplete pass. Sets up 3rd down and 7.
Yep, just a couple of seconds left remaining here in the first. And
it's actually a really heady play by Mapson to get rid of that thing, and knowing where he was on the field.
And just kind of shuffled that. Not your traditional pass out of bounds, but shuffled it out of bounds.
Definitely a desperation heave.
That leaves 3rd and 7 now for Andover.
3 down linemen for the Storm.
37-yard line of Sauk Rapids. The Storm looking to blitz. Mapson will hold on to this. And he pitches to Myers. Myers cuts back. Dangerous pitch because they were waiting for him to pitch that one. And Myers focused, was able to get it. If Mapson holds on and cuts it under, he probably has that first down. But nonetheless, we do have the end of this first quarter, which is in the books. It's a 14-0 lead here on QCTV. Andover Huskies taking on Sauk Rapids Rice. We'll return with that second quarter in just a moment.
Greetings, dear viewer. My name is Jimmy Good. I'm one of the hosts of Game Sharks QCTV's premier video game show. On this episode, we're talking about a ton of different things. We're recapping some of the predictions we made for E3 2024. We're also talking about Gamescom. We're talking about a bunch of things that we have been playing and a bunch of things we are really excited about coming up here in fall and winter of 2024. Get excited, get hyped. We're going to talk about video games. We're hoping you'll join us.
Second quarter, there's the snap and just underway. Quick shot up the middle. There's a gap, first down, and much, much more for Myers and the Andover Huskies. As he takes it down to the 23-yard line.
Yeah, big first down there. You knew they were going to go for it there on fourth down. And they were able to pick that up pretty quickly.
Reinforcement sent back in here by Sauk Rapids. Defensively trying to dial it up, and we get a stoppage of play here as a Sauk Rapids player a little slow to get up. That looks like it's Dean Gondek.
That will slow down this possession a little bit for Andover. Andover's had to really work on this possession. When we say really work for it, they've run 5 plays.
Yes.
Versus running the one play that they've been running consistently. They came out early just red hot, Joe, in that first quarter. Ran whatever they wanted to offensively. They've met a little more resistance from Sauk Rapids since. And the Storm needs to get a big stop here, bit of turnover, do something to try to move them back.
First down now for Andover. On the Sauk Rapids 24-yard line, Mapson's going to hold on to this and follow his blockers, executing one step, popping ahead, and now they get the defensive push, kind of what he got from the 5-yard line as he was escorted into the end zone during that first run of the afternoon for Mapson, which was the second play of the game, and for the big pickup that time, 15, and now we're going to first down and goal to go at about the 8.
Yeah, they get the extra 5 yards there. Right? He runs into the pile, and it's just like he keeps the legs moving, and that's going to get him the extra yards he needs for the first and goal.
Handoff, moving inside. Mapson had lost his helmet on that last play, so they pinch hitting. Owen Schmitz came in to take the snap, so Mapson had to go out. Schmitz came in, handed the ball off, and a positive play. Andover at least back to the line of scrimmage. Mapson back in, 2nd and 8. 2 receivers to the left and 1 to the lone side here, bottom of the screen, and Weigert. Handoff to Myers again, trying to. It was Mapson on that.
Yeah, he did keep it. He thought about maybe pitching it at the last second, but he chose to hang on to it himself, and I don't know if he just didn't like the angle to pitch it back, but Braden Kost was standing there waiting for him and able to bring him down, set up 3rd down and goal.
Back to about 2nd or 3rd and 7 here. Mapson's got a gap, tried to power his way in, kind of went lateral that time. Instead of putting the head down and moving it ahead, he's tackled at about the 4-yard line. Huskies have yet to attempt a field goal this season. And they're not going to start now, Tim.
No, why would you start now? Good play by Hudson Amoki, who's been a very impressive player to watch for this Sauk Rapids Rice team, making plays across the board. They're going to call timeout here, I think. But this is a critical 4th down for Sauk Rapids Rice, and I don't mind going for it here. You're up 14-0. You will pin their offense. If you don't get it, you pin them back in their own area. They've had a lot of plays that have been negative plays, have the Storm. And their offense, I don't think, is designed to go 90 yards, right? I don't believe that's what they want. So I don't think this is a bad trade at all here if you're the Andover Huskies.
Head coach of the Huskies, there you see on Tom DeVellis, gets that timeout. DeVellis started in 2020, went 6-0 in his first season before they called it a season due to the COVID. Then he came back the next year and went 10-0. So he started his coaching career with the Huskies 16-0. And then the first loss came in the quarterfinal matchup against Rogers at Osseo on a game that I was calling in which there was nothing but sleet. And because of some electrical issues, I had to go to the top of the press box and call that game. But it was a definitely a sleet and snow at Osseo High School.
And they have been very fortunate this year that we have had pretty darn good weather for every game. I mean, whether it's been a Friday night or the opening night of the season that got the rain and the thunderstorms. Outside of that, it has been great weather every game, including today. This is a great day for late October. I mean, you can't ask for much more than this.
Well, you said, I know you had mentioned some golf potentially. A mulligan was the term that I retained, and maybe some golf. Here's an extra point,
they are going to
field
go
goal attempt. That's Dylan Schrader coming in. Schrader ready to attempt this field goal. Snap is down, kick is up, it is up, and it's good from 21 yards out. Dylan Schrader converts on the first field goal attempt of the season for Andover, and they get points out of the drive, move it to 17-0 here with 10:05 to play.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice to know you have that in the arsenal.
Sure. I mean, it was basically just an extra point, not super far away. Again, I'm a little surprised that they decided to kick that. I mean, take the points, no problem there. There's certainly no harm in doing that. You just think to yourself, maybe with a touchdown we can kind of put this thing away early. And if we don't get it again, we pin this team that hasn't moved the ball all that well on us way deep in their own zone. So, I mean, there's always a time and a place to when you want to kick a field goal and when you want to go for it. I can live with either decision there.
I think it's nice to kind of be able to have that confidence of, hey, we can do this if we need to do it later, just to get it set from a mindset that's coming from a former holder on extra points.
Oh,
and
there you go. See,
that's nice to get a clean snap, get that field. Field goal, though, feels a little bit different.
Well,
in both
you want some airtime then is what you want. You want to get on the field so that people can notice you.
And both the kickers are on the Andover Huskies soccer team, which will be playing in the semifinals at U.S. Bank on the 30th against Maple Grove. An impressive win over Minnetonka, 3-2 last week. And both Schrader and also Caden Hansen, members of that soccer squad. Kickoff here controlled, now moves along the 30-yard line and then tackled down.
Yeah, short kick. And they have the rare three guys back to catch the kickoff return. That time they got what they needed, a running start. They'll get field position at the 31-yard line. And I think this is a must-score possession for Sauk Rapids Rice. I think they've got to get something. Okay, they held them to a field goal. So that was big. That's a big deal for the defense. You've got to pay that off with something on the offensive side.
Back behind center, at least ready for the snap in this pistol formation. Zimmer he looked like he wanted to pitch it, but before he could release it, he was swallowed up on a defensive line surge by Andover. That brings him down for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, Davis was there again, who's just a menace defensively, able to get into the backfield pretty much at will, but he was also assisted that time by Gage Reeder, and that was able to create a loss. And you're right, Zimmer was just unable to kind of key on the guy he needed to key on to make that pitch, and so what ended up happening is he just got swallowed up for holding on to it too long.
Another tackle for a loss there by the Huskies defense. 2nd and 12. Zimmer gets the snap, handoff right up the middle, trying to find a seam. As Weichel gets rid of a blocker around his hip. He goes flying, but 3rd down, that's back to the line of scrimmage, if not a little loss there for Sauk Rapids. 3rd and almost 13 now.
And Pepin again goes off the field a little gingerly, so Kamara will come on and play in the 3rd down back situation, but it is 3rd down and 12.
2 to the right, and the receivers, one all alone looking for Amoki here. He's been the key. Dropping back, Zimmer wants to air it out. He has a receiver. He has a receiver wide open behind the defense, and he'll take this one to the house. Just as you said, Tim, that they have to answer, and they do on the reception. Hauled in that time, and a good, well-thrown ball. Mason Sabraski picks up that touchdown reception. That ball well thrown.
That was a beautiful pass by Zimmer, and he, again, I think you're right, Joe, in the sense that the defense was thinking this is going to go to Amoki, and when Amoki made that break to come over the middle, the safety came down with them, and that left Zimmer wide open on the outside. Nice little bit of design right there. And they get a wide open look for a big touchdown, and that was big for Sauk Rapids Rice.
You're right. They did bite on a Moki and probably thinking of maybe a more slow or shorter conservative pass. They air it out. Now here's the chance for a 2-point conversion. Zimmer lines up behind center. He'll fake the handoff, going to try to hit a tackle, incomplete. Boy, nice thought.
The jump pass into the middle doesn't. You don't love that. You don't love the jump pass in the middle. I would have just taken the extra point right there. It's 17-7. A 2-point conversion doesn't get you within one score. So, like, what are we doing, right? I would just go ahead and kick the extra point there, get 17-7. But either way, it's 17-6. You've got some momentum back on your side. Now you need your defense to answer and go get a stop.
Absolutely a good time for that. And you're right. I think they were trying to throw it to maybe a receiver also not that well skilled at receiving.
Xavier Thurston was right there, the tight end. And I think, again, it was a little jump pass, but it was in traffic. There's 3 guys around him. Mm-hmm. And I think if we're going to do a jump, let's do a jump with our 6'3" wide receiver who can out-jump people at the highest point.
Well, Sauk Rapids has picked up and cut into this deficit on a touchdown pass. Well thrown again. Spinning the ball was Zimmer. And for Zimmer, that is touchdown pass number 4 on the season. Came in with 745 yards throwing the ball. Well-placed kickoff. Bounces high at the 10. Now cutting back, trying to find a seam to the left. Getting down to the ground, and finally they'll stop there, and the Huskies will get a look as they start here in the second quarter. The return, that play was by Aiden Weigert.
It's a little bit better second quarter from both sides, right? A little cleaner, a few less penalties. Players are starting to execute a little bit more. And again, you got to give some credit for just kind of surviving those early punches from Sauk Rapids, right? They took some hits in those first couple of minutes, and now they're hanging in this thing.
Sauk Rapids comes in with a mark of 5-4, just defeated Duluth East last week, 34-12 to advance here to the semifinals of the section. Quick out to Bagali. Bagali stays in, breaks a couple of tackles, and will pick up about 7 on that play.
Yeah, pick up about 7 yards, and that's just a little game where you can get 2-on-2 to the outside, right? You got the 2 wide receivers against those 2 corners, and all you're asking for is that front wide receiver right there, which was number 16, Brady Jensen, to just throw a block and see if Bagali can win his matchup one-on-one.
Bagali moves to the top. 2 the receivers, they'll get it back to Bagali, try it the opposite direction. Tries to gather a balance here, and gives a stiff arm and powers his way ahead. Looked a little unstable trying to get his feet under him on that reception, did Bagali, but he got the first down.
He was on a wobbly part of the carpet right there or something, like he had found a little air bubble or something. But, yeah, he looked a little unstable, but he made the play and got enough for the first down.
Huskies first down, and they on the move, their own 38-yard line. Handoff right straight ahead, and a throw down with an exclamation point there, but not before a first down by Wyatt Myers. Myers came in with 762 yards rushing, and his first carry of the game from about 57 out. He took it to the house.
Yeah, Myers has been really good in this game so far. Second down and very short.
Back to Myers again, cuts it back. Looked like he may try to kick it way outside, but went under the block. Good play, picked up probably an actual 5 as a result of that, and gets another run. Pick up maybe a 10-11 just on that carry alone. So Huskies moving it on the running attack. I mentioned on this season, they came in averaging 210 yards a game running the ball. In motion, Audette moving right to left. The snap, it's back again to Mapson. Mapson slices and dices and moves methodically down the field to the 31-yard line.
Yeah, Mapson is not a guy that'll go fast, right? He will take his time and wait for it to open, and he can do that because he's a big quarterback. He's a big kid. You know, when you're 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, you can absorb some stuff.
Second down. Moving Audette, looking to block, comes across, but they're going to try to go up top. And the intended receiver that time was Brandel, but That ball was thrown out of bounds. Audette came over on that snap to kind of pick up an end for extra protection. That worked. It looked like he had a little bit more time, but tried to hit that small window.
And you got single coverage to the outside for Jack Brandel there, so you got a matchup that you wanted, but that's good coverage from Sauk Rapids Rice defensively.
One of the players certainly you have to cover at all costs is Braden Cost, the linebacker here, middle linebacker, number 43 here for
Well, they got him to
Sauk
show
Rapids.
blitz.
3rd and 5. Doesn't pitch. Keeps it. Keeps moving. Gets to the edge. Cuts it down. And he just doesn't seem like he's panicking when he's running.
Yeah, very patient run, and that's a great job up front of blocking there by the Andover Huskies, because the Sauk Rapids Rice defense was in position to attack this. They were going basically cover 0. They brought everybody up. There were no safeties playing back. They were anticipating that run, and they still couldn't stop them.
Cost was a linebacker, number 42. He is one of their valuable defensive players, but boy, the Huskies continue to move to their cadence, and when they're in that groove, we had talked about time of possession. Teams typically always have much more time of possession than the Huskies, and the Huskies usually have twice as many plays by the time they get to the end of the game here. They get a first down, and at the 5-yard line of Sauk Rapids, Mapson ahead to Myers. Myers says, give me the house. It's time for another house call, and the Huskies score their 3rd touchdown of the game, and now up 23-6 with 6:32 remaining here in the first half.
Yeah, this time they weren't going to mess around. They got down into that 1st and goal area, that 5-yard line, and they said, you know what, we're just going to go right up the middle, and we're going to get this thing in the end zone quickly. And they get the score that they need, and now they're going to go for the extra point here. Try to get to 24-6.
Myers has got to be getting close to 100 yards already here in the first half. 6.5 to play. Extra point now coming the way of Cade Hansen. Hansen on the season has made 35 of 37 extra points. Mapson will hold the snap, the spot, the kick. It's up. It's good.
So a nice job there by Andover for answering the touchdown. Right when Sauk Rapids Rice feels like, we got a little momentum, maybe we're back in this thing, they give up a pretty long drive, just a 2-minute drive really as far as time of possession, but they were able to go the length of the field and do it fairly quickly and get the answer that they need to go back up 24-6.
Big answer indeed as the Huskies 6 and 2. You said at the beginning, Tim, bookend losses for Andover. They start the season with kind of a tough loss to St. Thomas Academy, as kind of trying to find out who they have, where they're at that first game of the year. And then they put together and stacked 6 straight wins, impressive wins. And then they come back to end their regular season against a very tough Robbinsdale Armstrong team. And that team just unbelievable size. The Huskies had surrendered, I think it was just over 300 yards to Johnson, the key running back for that squad, and went to double overtimes to lose by 1 point, which probably surrendered that number 1 seed in section play to Elk River.
Little squibber to the up man, and that's going to give good field position to Sauk Rapids Rice.
What a nice tackle. That was a great job of getting a piece there. I think that might have been Verheyen.
And you're right, that loss might have cost them a 1 seed in a playoff game, but
yeah, I mean, Elk River, since Coach DeVellis, and also long before that as well, kind of always had a good rival with Elk River in Andover over the seasons. It's Zimmer who's looking in. We'll get you more on that information. Here is a pass over the middle, wide open, finding Azim. Zimmer connects on the reception and picking it up. The number 44, Thurston, picks up his first catch of the game, a 205-pound tight end.
Well, you're right. They're a different team with Zimmer. The ball comes out way more on time, a lot crisper. And you're seeing that here, a much better Sauk Rapids Rights offense. Oh, that's a bad one, though.
McIntyre, Grease, elevates, brings it down, and then tackled at the 45-yard line. Grease hits the spot, read the eyes, good hands, and brought it down for the pick. Nice play by Grease. And the Huskies get a turnover here before half, a 6 and change to go. A chance to put the offense back in the end zone. McIntyre, Grease, a senior, with that interception.
And when you're chasing 3 scores, that can happen, right? Because you start to become one-dimensional. You start to play what they call kind of left-handed, right? You don't have all the plays in the playbook. You got to run stuff that becomes predictable and a little easier to defend. And right there, he just sailed a pass that went right to McIntyre Grease, who did a great job there of just sitting on it, waiting, reading the eyes of the quarterback. And that's an easy little pick.
That time didn't bite on any fakes and just stood with it. Handoff ahead to Myers, and there's a flag launched from Anoka, I believe. And
I think that's probably going to be a hold.
Yes, it will. When it comes from the official back by the safeties, he's got a pretty good view. You know, that is, we mentioned the offensive line is of good size here for the Storm, but as the same there, you've got a defensive line with some pretty good size as well.
That's right.
And that 3-3 stack is what they call it, their defensive set there. So, but here's a hand that's going to keep it. Mapson moves left, right, gets the first down. And kind of impressive to watch how he gets from point A to point B. You know, it's just kind of trusting the blocking, trusting the scheme. And he executes it well. First down. Pick up there from Mapson. I want to
stop the ball, though, Joe. In an option, I want to stop the ball. And right there handling, just let Mapson go right past him. I don't understand that.
He'll pitch this time. And now almost bobbled and almost a turnover as the Huskies were given a break there as Colin Gravink is into the game. Took that pitch. Went off of his hands. It's as though he wasn't expecting that pitch to come.
Yeah, kind of a late option, but that's what happens when you at least force the quarterback to a decision. I mean, you got to stop ball. It's a kind of an old expression, but you got to stop the ball first.
Gravink lost 4. Mapson's going to drop back near the logo at the 50. Now hits back, finds a seam. Now has a receiver open behind and just a little off the mark. Boy, it was a good look. Pass intended there for Brady Jensen. Jensen comes in with 15 receptions, 400 yards, and 4 TDs. He's an explosive receiver as well, and he was behind the defense there.
Yeah, tried to keep the feet in bounds and try to extend for it, just a little out of his reach, but good job by Mapson to keep it alive.
3rd and 14, this to Brady. To Jensen, nowhere to go. He got back, came back to get the ball, but when he was coming back to get that pass, he was also coming right into a tackler, and there was literally no place for him to go.
And that play took a little while to develop as well. I mean, you know you're trying to set up a little bit of a screen there, but that play just seemed like it took too long, and it allowed Sauk Rapids to sort of see what was coming and get ready for it. And there was just no room after Jensen made the catch. There was no blockers ahead, and they force a punt, which for the first time all game, that's a big one for Sauk Rapids Rice.
Snap will come from the Sauk Rapids 44-yard line. 4 minutes, 15 seconds left. Brandel on this punt, end over end. And it comes back into the direction of the Huskies line of scrimmage.
Boy,
finally,
like
somebody pounces on top of that thing.
That's like an 8-yard punt. I'm sorry, that was the second punt of the game, but that was not what you're looking for as a punt right there. You needed to try to, you're trying to definitely play for position there, maybe cough and corner that thing, but that thing nets them about 8 yards.
We're going to give a call out to some viewers or listeners right now. It's audio first, and then we'll break it to video here probably after midnight to Doug and Cheryl in Brookings, South Dakota. Hello to Doug and Cheryl in Brookings, South Dakota. Thanks for joining us on this QCTV sports presentation Saturday afternoon, double reverse. I was getting excited, and you can see the head coach on the side erupting in frustration as that's whistled down. They were coming back, the old near midfield trick play type of scenario.
And you got it, those pre-snap penalties.
Oh my goodness.
First down, clock will start on the snap.
So we got first down now in 15.
And Tim, there's got to be a little chatter on that line.
Oh, yeah.
As 94 comes out, and they're chirping back and forth, and sometimes that causes some motion. And 94 comes out of the game here. 3 receivers, they're going to try to spread it out. 3 to the right, 2 other side here. Zimmer fakes it. Now they want to do it.
Oh, it's trouble.
Fumble strip on that quarterback draw. And they did a great job, did Andover, stripping it. It said they've forced 13 fumbles on the season. They forced a couple more here this afternoon. And now Andover has a chance with excellent field position to punch this in with 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. A 24-6 lead, and they take over at the Sauk Rapids 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's just a tough one to take. You can't have that penalty. You can't have that turnover right there. You have to protect the ball on the quarterback draw. You know you're going to get hit somewhere on the quarterback draw, so you have to protect the ball. Did not happen. Big turnover, and now Andover in business.
Dead in motion left to right. The Huskies then turn it over and give it right back.
Wow.
Whew.
You got to be kidding me. Boy, when you get a chance like that, that was a KO opportunity for the Huskies. I think they're just say, let's go ahead and end this thing right now before half and close this deal. And now, one play later, you give the ball right back.
That's kind of an anomaly on the season. That's just the second fumble of the year for Myers. He'll typically protect that ball.
Boy, you give Andover usually red zone possession, and that usually is going to be a score. And so you got to feel like you really dodged one there if you're the Storm.
Snap back and keeping no decision to be made here. Zimmer went to the bench, and they brought in Reedham in that time to say, we're coming back to you, just move it north-south.
Yes,
let's go.
Please do. You're the Wildcat guy. You're coming in to just get us into more manageable yards. Second down and 6 is way better, right? So that you have a lot of options there. And sometimes it's predictable, right? Because you say, well, okay, he's in. They're clearly going to run the ball. But it allows you to get extra blockers up front, and you can really start to dial in on those Wildcat possessions.
Well, and considering as your quarterback, the last 2 possessions, 2 plays, an interception and a fumble. You want to get some sort of flow moving in the handoff here. Zimmer up the middle. Wow. Cutting inside and ending that on the tackle. They're number 56.
Yeah, Kamara gets the run that time as Pepin has not come back into the game after he came back in for that one play and got that one run. Kind of slowly went off the field, and now we got a player down for Andover.
Looks like Tyler Phillips, 6 foot, 225-pounder, a linebacker.
Yeah, he's down, and now the helmet's off as they're going to come check on him.
3:01 to play here in this first half. Several start and stops here, some injuries. But finally now get a chance to see maybe we can get Sauk Rapids, finding their way of working their offense in the direction they have. We haven't seen that quarterback so far, Spencer Ackerman.
And we may not. I mean, it just may be one of them games where they're like, he's not going to be able to grip. It's too risky. He's not going to be able to grip the ball. Throwing is a big part of their offense, too. And so if you have a quarterback who you're not really comfortable can throw it, you gotta go with what you have.
In fact, Ackerman came in, again, injured the second game of the season, but had 345 yards, throwing 16 of 25. He could spin it, 1 touchdown. And he's kind of their main force back there, but when he injured that thumb. You're right. on a little colder day, it's a little tough to grip the ball. Now Zimmer wants to air it out. He'll put it up high. Omoke goes up high. It's picked off there by the Huskies as they try to come back and pick. Rolling up, breaking a tackle. That's Raiden Peterson continuing.
And that's going to be PI on Andover, I think, and it's going to be a penalty and 15 yards for Sauk Rapids Rice. And again, that's what they want to do. They're going to throw it up to Amoki and say, I don't care if it's triple coverage. We think you're going to high point it and win, or you're going to get pass interfered.
And Zimmer, when he released that ball, didn't quite have that gusto or that attitude on spin. And he was throwing into the wind. And that ball just fluttered up top. Ideal time, as you mentioned, to high ball at that point, high point up by Amoki. But in doing so, they tossed the flag, and they're still having
they're trying to maybe
general
figure out,
council meeting here on it, and want to make sure they get it right.
It was a bit of an underthrown ball, so Amoki had to come back for it. And so that's the question, is when he came back for it, was the interference caused because he kind of initiated the contact, or was it PI? It was basically three Andover Husky jerseys surrounding Amoki on that pass play. And this is a long convo.
Very long. In fact, look at some other scores that too are happening. The one we're keeping an eye on as well is with Elk River.
Refs are explaining things now to the coach as well. As you're going through that scoreboard, a lot of games going on today, like a lot of games were last night, but a lot of games as well happening in the 1 o'clock window today on a Saturday.
That it is. As if it's Spring Lake Park, 21-7 currently over Rogers, St. Francis, and Elk River. No update on that game, even though it did start at 1 o'clock.
There may not be internet in one of those cities. You never know. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. It's all jokes. They're just jokes.
I have a psychic on a hotline right now,
seeing if they can. Don't you have sources over there that can give you those information pieces?
You know, you would think that but apparently they're on a personal date.
Okay. So they'll take that one probably because it's going to be 15. Ooh.
Sauk Rapids has their choice of which one, and they're going to decline the defenseless player. Therefore, it's first down. They'll keep the interference call. 15-yard penalty. It'll be first down, Sauk Rapids.
So there you go. Ref explains it all to us as it'll be they had two penalties on that one. They keep the PI penalty. And it'll be first down and 10 for Sauk Rapids Rice.
High number of penalties for both of these teams. Yeah. Very unlike the squads here. 2:30 to go here in the second. Zimmer's going to roll left, fake the handoff up top. That goes through a couple of sets of hands and finally finds the turf for an incomplete pass.
Yeah, you wonder if somebody ran the wrong route. You had two Storm players within about 3 yards of each other, and that's usually not what you want. And the pass tree got away with that one. Yeah, a lot of penalties. So even if you're Coach Tom DeVillis and you're up 24-6, there are a lot of things that you're not super thrilled about here, even through this first half, I would have to think.
A lot of things to kind of get zeroed in. You got to keep in mind it's been about a week and a half since Andover has played a football game as well.
That's true.
A snap here. Back again. Zimmer looking deep. Now goes underneath and hit. And a loose ball picked up here. Could this be the scoop and score? I couldn't tell if they called it dead or not, but apparently they have. Good thrown, well-thrown ball, but an excellent tackle. Now play after the receiving of the ball. Anthony Camara had it in his hands momentarily, but they said not. Another step was taken, so incomplete. Third down and 10. Sauk Rapids trying to convert. Three receivers near side of the field, and another penalty.
Oh, man. And now the penalties start to mount up, and now once again you're behind the chains, Joe. Third down and 15. It's not going to get it done.
And that was Jack Thelp. Picked that up, 6'6", 285-pound left tackle. Mount their way here to now a 3rd and 15 for the Storm. Zimmer takes the snap and gets swallowed up by the surgence of that defensive line again as Zimmer was looking down the field. Finally,
and he's hurt too.
A flare out to the left side. A receiver was there. He was trying to step and kind of climb that ladder in the pocket, then taken down.
Yeah, he got hit low, and now he's hurt as well. Timeout taken.
30-yard line is where Zimmer went down on that sack. That leaves 4th and 22.
Timeout on the field, Andover. That's their second charge timeout. Please put 2:09 on the game clock.
Timeout by the Huskies as they will try to shut down this.
It was a bad shot, too, that he took.
You could see that he was surveying that field and continued to kind of look left, look right. He had a receiver open for about maybe 5 yards that was the throw. Not much room after that, but he could not, as he tried to move up that ladder and into the pocket.
Got rolled up on.
Oh, man, yeah.
And now you have Andover, who rightfully so takes the timeout as well. And you got 2:09 left to play with here in this first half, and a chance to, again, maybe get that knockout punch that you're looking for.
Zimmer had a pretty good outing. His high this year was 295 yards thrown the ball and 3 TDs versus Cambridge Isanti. He'll head to the bench and maybe have halftime to try to get that injury up and functioning. I will tell you that I see Spencer Ackerman warming up, number 7, on the sideline.
And it just may become his time.
Here's the punt, the snap high over the top, trying to get the block. Picked up off the pad there, Myers. Myers goes back, retrieves the ball, moves it ahead to the 25, now has a wall to the 40, to the 50, continuing the wall, back to the 30, all the way back up, and he's taken this one to the house on a perfect punt return after the initial fumble. And the Huskies will pick it up and take it for a 73-yard punt return by Myers. That gives Andover now a 30-6 lead.
You'd be amazed at how much that actually happens when a guy fumbles the ball and then has all this room to run, because once the fumble happens, it's like the special teams on the other side loses their gap integrity, and they forget what they're trying to do because they're all just trying to run to the football. So as Myers regathers himself, there's just nothing but open field in front of him. And he was able to find a wedge and take it all the way to the house, and that is just a backbreaker for Sauk Rapids Rice.
Caden Hansen in for the extra point, snap, spot, and the kick is good. And Andover now with a 31-6 lead, 1:48 to play in this first half. And we're going to see if maybe we get a look at Spencer Ackerman to come in here for Sauk Rapids at quarterback. Saw him warming up. You talk about that half step. It always reminds me of Billy White Shoes Johnson for the Houston Oilers. It's just every time he'd go back and he would somehow have a miscue. And you're right. It disrupts that momentum of the coverage. They either relax or they dart and they try to get after the ball. And he gets it back, takes one step, says, whoa, and then bam,
it just happens
took it to the house.
Especially in high school football, too, because everybody sees fumble and they just run to the ball.
That's the first kick return of the season for the Huskies. You could see that wall transpire. Those of you catching us on audio only here for the initial broadcast. Impressive wall that was put in place by special teams. This is a slow roller on a kickoff. And Sauk Rapids pounces on that at about the 28-yard line with 1:47 to play in this first half.
Zimmer is back out there, so he was able to walk that off, which is a good sign. It's going to be one of those where he'll feel that in the morning.
Certainly will at that. As we said, the winner of this matchup will take on the winner of Elk River and St. Francis for the section championship. It has been a a matchup of this rivalry between Andover and Elk River to meet in the section championship for the past 5 years. There's a nice rip across the middle, picked up and moving ahead, first down. Good toss, good spin that time by Zimmer. He connected with Winkleman for a pickup of 12 and a first down.
Yeah, it's like that Elk River Andover game has been sort of predestined for a number of years there. They just kind of circle it and they're like, we'll see each other.
Hello, Newman.
Yes.
We'll see each other again. First down now on the 42-yard line.
And people are moving. And Zimmer, I think, looking back at his center going, hey, the count. Observe the count.
It's like the Pumpkin Bowl. You got to respect the pumpkin. You got to respect the account.
You got to do it. Yeah, as Lincoln Rushmeyer might have jumped. And that's going to, again, you take the two steps forward, but then it's the 3 steps back, right? Because you get the big first down, you get yourself out towards midfield, and then immediately a penalty in your 1st and 15.
Zimmer looks, leads, throws it across the middle, complete. Well thrown, right down the middle of the seam. Picked up by Mason once again for another first down on the run here for Mason Sobraski.
Yeah, runs a little seam, wide open down the middle, split that cover too.
Donnelly on that tackle. They're moving quickly now.
Do it again.
Down the seam. Again, same song, different verse. And continuing just to find that perfect seam. Well thrown by Zimmer. Not trying to do too much with it. And the same receiver, Sobransky, picks it up. That time a pickup of 20.
Well, I like that the ball's out. 1, 2, 3, ball's out, right? It's a 3-step drop. You hit that seam route, and it's there for you right now.
On the 13-yard line of Andover. Zimmer looks across. Again, not trying to do too much. It's a catch and release. Gets the snap, release, and a pickup that time of, about 10 on the play. Close to a first down. And Sauk Rapids takes the timeout. 35 seconds left in this first half. And now they're saying, what took us so long to get this cadence and flow
Some
down?
of that is you're getting a little bit of a soft coverage from the Andover Huskies defense, which is a big part of it. But that's taking advantage of the soft coverage. If they're going to give you the middle of the field, all right, run some slants, run some seams, and give yourself those chances to get into a rhythm. Then if Andover decides to tighten that up and bring that pressure up, now you can go big over the top again.
That last pass completed to Winkleman, his 3rd reception of the game. But the other thing you haven't seen the last 3 snaps, a penalty.
Yes, and that's been the key. They've been able to move the sticks, and a lot of that's because the plays themselves are pretty crisp, right? You're getting the ball out. 1, 2, 3, balls out. I'm a big believer in that at this level especially. If you can get the ball out within 3 or 4 seconds and not let the quarterback sit on it, you're doing well.
Huskies back on the field. Probably keeping an eye right now on Bubba Weichel here, number 7, trying to find a blitz. They're going to try to do a little shove and pressure here, going over the top, going nowhere with that tush-push attempt by Sauk Rapids. I mean, that went absolutely nowhere. The Huskies got a lot lower than their offensive line, and they're forced to take their last time out.
And again,
Sauk Rapids.
Well, you're also trying to make sure that you don't give the ball back to Andover with any time, too. I think that's a part of it. Is if you can get a score here, go to the half down, 31-13, 31-14, something like that. I mean, it's not good. You're not thrilled about that, but that's at least something. You get the last score. You can go and kind of regroup and say, all right, we can come out and get the ball first, get the ball back in that 3rd quarter, score right away, and all of a sudden we got them on their heels.
Coach Tom DeVellis having a conversation also with the head official there. DeVellis, if he can get the win here today, would be his 40th win as the Andover head coach. Overall, 39-8 since joining and taking over the head coaching role. Former head coach Rich Wilkie, the initial coach here for the Huskies, went and took over the offensive coordinator roles at Augsburg. So 39-8 for DeVellis. It's his arrival, and of course, plenty of success previous to this coaching job with Blaine. Faking the handoff, rolling right. Now they're on to Chase. Touchdown. No, he could not handle it. In and out of the hands. Wow. A good look there. But
And we got another injured player down for Sauk Rapids Rice on the offensive line. But, man, yeah, that was in the hands. That's it's got to be had right there. I mean, that if you're Zimmer, you're like, man, I can't put it any better than that. I need that one caught. And that's a big lineman who's down. I wonder who that is. I hope we can see a number here soon and hope he's okay.
the intended receiver was a tight end on that play and unable to convert. That was Thurston. Had it in his hand, threw a strike. Did Zimmer.
Coaches, trainers working on the young man down on the field still here for Sauk Rapids Rice. .24 seconds to go in this half.
And we try to get things at excellent quality of care here with all of the trainers. Coaches included. A little bit of movement there. I feel better about seeing that.
You just felt like he was just kind of laying on his back there for quite a while, and it's never what you want to see. But now they at least have him sitting up, and that's we'll hopefully see from there if the situation improves.
Well, the Class 5A rankings, the last one that came through was on October 20th. It had Moorhead, Spuds, number 1 in the state, and then number 2 was Owatonna. 3 Armstrong at 8-0. They are number 1 in their section. And playing St. Louis Park today, Elk River was number 4 at 7-1. Andover 5th at 6-2. So a lot to kind of clarify here over the course of the next couple of weeks. I just did a little stat here too and noticed there is the player.
It was Hayden Brown, one of the offensive linemen.
We talked, I'm glad to see he's walking off. Still needs a little assistance, and we'll keep an eye and see if we can get an update for you.
Absolutely.
At halftime on the condition there. But I'd gone through each of the records for Elk River and Andover. So Elk River has a combined record of all the teams they've played so far with that 7-1 record. The teams have a record of 34-34. For Andover, they're 36-31 of all the records of the teams they've beaten at 6-2. Here
That's
we go.
That's some pretty good numbers work by you.
Faking the snap, faking it underneath, going over the top, and that play has just not worked today here.
No, it is not.
As they try to send it to Zimmer. Zimmer made that duck, tried to get them to bite, and they'll get a final roll here with 20 seconds left, 4th down and goal to go here for Sauk Rapids, and they just kind of lost that mojo that they had leading up.
It gets harder to score and harder to move the ball when you're inside the 3, but I think you go. Now they're going to kick the field goal here and get something.
Pretty good
I wouldn't
kicker.
have been surprised if they went for it, but they want to go get something.
Getting ready for the snap. It's Mark Felder in for the kick. The snap, the spot, the kick. It's up. That is good, and that's from about 22 yards out. And at least you're right. They get points out of this. 31-9 now, the lead for Andover with just 16 seconds left in the first half.
And a very long first half, Joe. I mean, my goodness.
So a few penalties.
Quite a few, maybe too many penalties. Some turnovers, some sloppy play, and some big plays, some big explosive plays.
Huskies, meanwhile, get ready to return this ball. And, concern also, for Andover, not that this game is behind them, but we want to be healthy as we advance here. And especially if more than likely the team you're going to face is Elk River. A team that Andover defeated earlier this year by a score of 47-31 in Elk River. Playoffs, always a little different, right? It's mindset. execution, preparation, and then let's bring that into the weather.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, things can. I mean, the weather, advanced weather, looks good over the next couple of weeks, but things can change around here, as you know.
Kickoff here goes right to Audette. Good play. Gathers it, has it, and just takes the knee.
Well, how aggressive?
Not a time to really take too much.
How aggressive are you here, Joe? I mean, 15 seconds. They've made big plays. Do you take a shot at a big play, or do you just, hey, let's go into the locker room here?
I think with the Huskies right here, they're probably going to look at taking a knee and getting to the halftime and reassessing.
That's certainly what it looks like with that formation.
Snap here for Andover, a 31-9 lead. They take the snap. That's going to take us to the half. Andover Huskies, well, they sprinted out on 2 possessions and 2 plays and a 14-0 lead early in the first quarter. And now at the end of 2 complete, it's a 31-9 lead for Andover over the Storm in this section semifinal matchup. I'm Joe Rullan along with Tim Anderson. We'll return for the second half in a moment.
The Andover Community Center. A beautifully renovated building is ready for your next adventure.
So yeah, we're coming up on our 20th anniversary here later this summer. For the ice arena, the facility as a whole, including the YMCA, opened, it'll be 20 years next summer. But yeah, early on in the planning process, the city got together with the YMCA and formed a partnership. So not only do we have our gymnasiums and the 2 ice rinks and walking track, multiple community rooms that are all operated by the city, but then the YMCA has all the fitness, the studios, the pools, obviously all those programs that YMCAs do, and I think it's fair to say it's been a very successful partnership here for coming up on 20 years.
From the growing popularity of pickleball to the walking track, the Andover Community Center offers plenty of activities to suit your needs.
Yeah, so just to hear about 4 years ago, we did a big expansion, added our second sheet of ice, which includes a walking track on the second level, added another gymnasium, multiple community rooms again. But yeah, again, going back to maybe the early folks that designed the building before I was here, you're right, we get a lot of compliments. The black concrete floors, all of the wood beams, all the woodwork through the building. We work really hard as a staff to maintain all these spaces. We took opportunity here this spring actually to do a fair amount of updates going on 20 years. It was time to refinish floors and do a lot of painting and that type of stuff. But yeah, it's certainly a beautiful building. You know, we take a lot of pride in the community center here. It's a beautiful facility. I would encourage anybody that's maybe not made it in here to just stop in, visit our information desk. We can take you on a tour, be happy to show you all of the schedules, all the activities, and really just all the opportunities that the community center has, both for residents and non-residents. Also our partnership with the Y, you can stop and visit their desk, talk about Y memberships and all the great programs they run as well. So definitely come and see us. Fun Fest is coming up here in just a few weeks, and that's a great opportunity if you're going to be on the grounds for Andover Fun Fest. Make your way over to the community center. It's a good spot to come cool off a little bit, grab some concessions, whatever you need, and come visit us.
Yes, we have sections coming up, and our first game is at Anoka. I love playing against Anoka. I think it creates a really good border battle between us and kind of lights a fire under our team.
I would say it is kind of like a rematch, but I think the first game that we had was a really good battle against them. I always love playing them because it's a big competition, and I know some of the girls on the team. It gets like both schools fired up, kind of. Like everyone just looks forward to it around the school, so it's a big thing.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite game this year, was against Sunoco. I think we did play pretty good, and hopefully we'll do better next time.
I want to say maybe our senior night was a really fun game.
Who was that against?
SLP. Yes, I think we just like all came together as a team that game. We all really hustled, made some good plays, and we just battled for each other.
We go to Applebee's almost every game after, and that's like my favorite part of the season, is just bonding with the team.
As a team, we do like a big chant in the locker room beforehand, and that's always fun to get fired up.
What's the chant? Can you guys reenact it?
Oh no. How does it go? Oh, no.
I think I learned a new level of patience for myself, and just with like not a ton of returners coming back, it was hard to like get people into the new groove this year.
I just knew like we'd have to step up as like the only two fully coming back from the season, so it wasn't like a big battle, like bringing everyone together, learning everyone's different role, because a lot of us switched positions, so that was a big thing in our season.
I really enjoyed our senior night game and all of like the fun things that we got to do, and making our boards and getting our sashes and our shirts, and I thought senior night was really fun.
I think I remember the teammates more than the games, because a lot of these girls like I played with since I was very, very young. So it's like really cool and kind of hard growing up and then like leaving at the same time.
I started swimming when I was really young. I don't remember what age. And my dad, his whole family was a swimmer. Like, we're all swimmers, so that's where I started it. And then my brother was a swimmer in high school, so that helped inspire me to do it. It's definitely different than other team sports I've done in the past. And I feel like I almost like cheer for my teammates more than I would if I was like on a softball team or something, because I know how hard they're fighting, because it's the same as when I'm swimming. I'm also fighting really hard, so it's like, it almost like brings the team closer in a way.
Me and all the other captains got to coach the team, and we got to do a meet on Saturday. So we got to judge diving, and we got to be the coaches for all the girls. I think that's probably gonna be one of my top memories.
We just had our Fargo meet last weekend, and that's one of the best meets. We have so much fun up there, just like getting to drive up with all of each other. It's just a really good team bonding thing. Moving from club to high school, it's a lot different because club you more focus on individual stuff and you don't look at the team scores as much. But then when we go into high school, you learn a lot more about the team scores and how much your swims actually affect the team. But then also at the same time, you have to look at your personal aspects of it and see how you can like help yourself.
We've had a lot of team bonding. We go to people's houses, have dinners with each other. We go to Han's Bakery to get donuts after practice on Saturdays. Starbucks, we have fun.
Do you have any pre-meet rituals? Are you superstitious?
I get an energy drink at Quick Trip and a Cliff Bar and Goldfish.
Team goals, and maybe personal too, is having some people make it to state. I've always wanted to make it to state in an individual event, so I'm definitely trying. We'll see. But definitely Getting on the podium at sections is a big one too. I've done that a couple years in a row, and obviously I want to keep it going and try to do better than I did the year before, and I think a lot of girls want to do that as well.
So here in Andover, we have what we call our Adopt a Park program. We have over 70 parks and open spaces that we maintain. So any help we can get from the public, we greatly appreciate. So currently we do have a handful of parks available for adoption. The way the program works is you reach out to our Public Works Administrative Assistant, Danielle, and she can set you up on it's a 2-year commitment that you clean the park twice a year. We supply the garbage bags and everything, and then we'll come pick them up after your event. And it's a 2-year commitment. You get a sign at the park recognizing, whether it's your family, some local businesses do it as a way of just giving back to the community. So any help with the Adopt a Park program is always greatly appreciated in helping keep Andover parks clean. So we ask a minimum of twice a year, a spring and fall cleanup. You're welcome to do it as many times a year as possible. Obviously, the more often you do it, the less trash there is to pick up. So, but twice a year is the commitment that we ask for people when they sign the contract. So, with all the parks, a lot of them are neighborhoods, and a lot of families just kind of adopt them as like their own park. So, they're in their backyard. They help keep them clean, and it's always appreciated from our staff and myself and everyone here at the city. People enjoy it. People take ownership in it. Like I said, they start calling it their park. So people seem to enjoy the program, and we've really had great success with it. And currently we have most of our parks are adopted, but we do have a handful. If anyone's interested, they can reach out to go to our City Andover website, into the Parks Department, and look for our Danielle Lensmeyer. She's the one who manages that program, and she can get you set up.
I'm Pete Turok, president of the Anoka Area Chamber of Commerce, inviting you to watch the October edition of the Chamber Report right here on QCTV. It is birthday time at the Anoka Area Chamber of Commerce, which means that we just turned 72 years old, so we have started a new fiscal year at the Chamber. You are going to meet new Chamber Board Darlene Song. You will hear about what the board is planning as they move forward in this year. We have our member profile segment and so much more. It is this month's edition of the Chamber Report. Hope you watch.
Hi, my name is Nicole Kronzer, and I'm the author of this book, The Roof Over Our Heads. The Roof Over Our Heads is about a boy named Finn, who is from a very theatrical family. And his family, they're like caretakers of this enormous historical home, which I totally based on the James J. Hill House in St. Paul. So if you've been to the Hill House and you read this book, you'll totally know where it takes place. So the plot of the book is that the roof starts leaking, and the family's going to have to, vacate the house. The owners want to sell the house. And so what they do is they gather up all their friends, and they dress everyone up like it's 1891, and they put on a play to save the house. And the play is ridiculous, and it is called A Midsummer Night's Art Heist Garden Party Escape Room Murder. And so what the audience does is they follow whoever they're interested in from room to room of the house. And so while that's all going on in the foreground, the background is that our Finn cannot memorize lines. And he really feels like the only way to belong in this theater family is to be an actor. Never mind that his talents lie elsewhere, never mind that he doesn't have to earn their love. So this book has been called a fight song for theater kids. It is a finalist for the Minnesota Book Award. It is for anybody who has a teenager in their life, is a teenager, or who has ever been a teenager. And it is funny and fun and swoony and mysterious.
Did you know that every day, millions of children around the world go to bed hungry? At Feed My Starving Children, we're working hard to change that. But we can't do it alone. We need your help. It's a fun, rewarding, and impactful way to spend your time. Plus, it's something you can do with friends, family, or even your coworkers. Ages 5 and up and all abilities are welcome. We take care of you every step of the way, from greeting you at the door, increasing your understanding of the impact of world hunger, to specific volunteer roles. We're here to serve you. And together, we'll celebrate the powerful impact you've made in less than 2 hours. So join us at FMSC Coon Rapids and be part of something bigger than yourself. Find more details and sign up for a volunteer slot at fmsc.org/volunteer. Together, we can feed every child until all are fed.
In a world where physical health often takes the spotlight, it's easy to overlook an equally important aspect of our well-being, mental health. Yet despite its significance, mental health is often stigmatized, misunderstood, or simply neglected. From creating awareness to offering education and community wellness grants, to hosting our annual 5K walk for mental wellness, the Mental Wellness Campaign for Anoka County is creating a community where mental health is as important as physical health. Let's break the silence, erase the stigma, and prioritize mental health. Together, we can create a world where everyone feels supported, understood, and empowered to live their best lives. The Mental Wellness Campaign for Anoka County, your mental health matters.
We are trying our first ever card writing event, and we have community members gathered here today to write greeting cards to clients in our senior kinship program and our senior programs. ACAP is Anoka County Community Action Program. We are an independent nonprofit agency. We've been serving the community since 1965, and we have wonderful senior programs. I'm a part of the senior kinship program, so I set up volunteers with seniors who are isolated and lonely, and the volunteers provide companionship and transportation. I think that people in the community want to help others and they want to connect with community members. So this was just a great opportunity for people to come together to build community, to put hand to pen to paper, to send some uplifting, wonderful messages to seniors that we will then, get their messages spread through seniors throughout Anoka County. You know, it takes a special person to give back to their community and to carve out time. You know, we're all busy, but people that want to help others find time and they find ways to give back, whether it's coming together with us tonight for 2 hours and, you know, writing greeting cards, or maybe they have time to meet with a senior weekly. You know, people do want to help, and there's a lot of really good in the world and in Anoka County, you know, with our neighbors. I think I would love people to know that we do have a need for more volunteers. Whether it's volunteering with the kinship program or volunteering with chores and more, we do need more volunteers. We have a lot of seniors that are on waiting lists. We have some waiting lists that are closed because we're just not able to move them off of the waiting list quick enough because we don't have enough volunteers. So we need volunteers that can commit to work with our seniors. That might mean weekly, that might mean quarterly, once a year. We work with people based on their availability, their interest, and we connect them to people in our program that need that extra support. Yeah, we're connected to quite a few places, but we're always looking for more, you know.
You are, right?
Yeah, I would like to thank everyone that came out tonight. When you try a new event, you don't know what's gonna come up from it, but we have a lot of good ages, a variety of people that are here tonight, and it hasn't been quiet, so people are connecting with their neighbors, and they're sharing some snacks and listening to some live entertainment and hopefully learning a little bit more about our programs and how they could help us in the process.
Are you looking for the perfect family-friendly activity but just haven't quite found the right fit? Well, why not try Ramsey's Speed Puzzling Competition? Head over to Ramsey City Hall on Saturday, November 16th from 10 a.m. to noon. Teams of up to 4 will work together to assemble a picturesque puzzle featuring scenery from one of Ramsey's 2023 photo contest entries. Participants are given a 2-hour time frame to complete their puzzle, and the team who does it the fastest will take home a prize. Each team will work on the same 500-piece puzzle that they're welcome to take home after the event. Feel free to bring snacks to keep your team's stamina up. Box top holders and sorting trays are permitted, but other puzzling tools are not. Sign up for this event is required, and more information and a registration form can be found at cityoframsey.com/parks register.
Andover Huskies enjoying a 31-9 lead as we returned to start the second half, but they hit the switch early, Tim. Joe Rulon along with Tim Anderson as the Huskies had 2 plays, 2 touchdowns, hit the switch early. And right now Sauk Rapids at halftime have some walking wounded as well, as I noticed going to the locker room. One of those walking wounded happened to be their stud linebacker, a heck of a linebacker in Braden Costa. Hope that he can make it back, but limping very delicately off the field.
Yeah, it was a you thought after the start, the first 3 minutes of the game, it was 14-0. I credit Sauk Rapids Rice for making some adjustments and hanging in there, and there were opportunities for them where if they could have made a stop, they might have been able to get close. They got it to 17-6, and then they went for 2, which I was a little bit puzzled by. I thought they would just kick the extra point, and 17-7 looks a lot different. But if they're able to make a stop on that next series, they maybe get the chance to get an opportunity to cut it to a 1-possession game. Maybe that would have been different, but it just felt like every time they had that opportunity to make the big stop, make the big play, they would commit a penalty, they would commit a turnover, and that's what's kind of held them back in this game. But at the same time, Andover's up 31-9. They could very easily be up way more than that, but they have committed a fair amount of penalties in this game themselves, and some turnovers at some inopportune times. And that's what's kind of prevented them from throwing the knockout punch here in this first half. I really thought they would be. I mean, this had like 40-0 written all over it in the first half of this one, and it's still a really good performance from Andover. But you can tell there are some things that they could even clean up on a little bit more.
And you're going to see if maybe Zimmer, the quarterback for Sauk Rapids, he came in. Not
he was
bad
better.
stats.
He gave them something.
745 for the season, but he also really did a good job of leading them down the field late in that first half, they were knocking on the door and maybe some play call where it kind of took them out of the momentum they were in. They hit some key seam passes, completed it, but just had to take that field goal at the end of that first half.
The real problem they've had is they haven't been able to run with the running backs. Pepin went out with the injury. And so anytime they've been able to run, it's been because they've been in Wildcat with Riedemann, or it's been with some kind of sweep play or some kind of trick play. They haven't been able to establish consistent running. And because of that, you're right, it throws them out of their plan, especially down in that last one where they kicked the field goal at the end of the half. You're at 1st and goal at the 2, but you have no running game. And so you're forcing to try to throw the ball in these really tight windows, and that's really tough to do.
Yeah, we're not hearing you talk about a lack of running game. That includes Anthony Camara, who's averaging 5 yards a carry this year, has not been able to sustain or get any open opportunities for a ground game to kind of keep that rush honest. Meanwhile, spinning it, doing well. Alex Zimmer, they tried with Sam Koulis to start. They had to move to that next plan with Zimmer, and I'm kind of curious to see. I know they can't fall back much farther when they want to maybe try to bring in, if they can, Spencer Ackerman, who injured his thumb early in the season, had a pin removed late, it sounds like late last week, and hoping that maybe they could get him loose. It's sunny. It's a great day for October, but it's tough to grip that football. Just cold enough when you're trying to grip that football. So maybe that's
right.
Preventing him from getting back out there.
And I actually think, Zimmer's been able to make plays in the passing game. On the other side for Andover, too, I feel like they've tried to figure out what are we, in this half, because they've done some quarterback stuff with Mapson, and he's been very good. They've gotten Myers on the ground going a little bit. They've tried to get Bagali going in the passing game. They've thrown a lot of quick outs to him. But you have the lead now, and I think on the ground you can get what you want. So there's no need to take any real risks. I would do a lot of running from this Andover team in the second half. I'd be really surprised to see them throw it a ton. I think you'll see some of those quarterback keepers from Mapson, but I don't think I'd do a lot of those. I would be getting Myers involved on the edges and just try to run this thing down, get a couple scores here early, see if you can get to fourth quarter running time.
And we'll try to get you some updates as well. The winner of this game will take on the Elk River St. Francis matchup in the section championship. The last 3 years, it's been Andover and Elk River meeting in the section championship. The regular season game is merely a prelude of what happens, and those have been some shootouts. Scores like 67-35. 65-32, 63-56, 24, 6. I'm going into Chicago.
It's such an interesting contrast of styles with those two teams, right? With Elk River being that power, old school wing tee, and you got Andover, who's more up tempo, kind of, sort of a new school running team that does option, but does spread, does lots of different stuff.
Andover will receive as we are officially underway, trying to get a little onside kick, but ready. I'd expect nothing less from a Coach DeVellis team. Ready for that onside kick, and pouncing on it was Luke Donnelly.
Well, the problem was that he kicked that really more up in the air. He didn't get that. He didn't get that bounce on the turf.
And so the Huskies take over like they did in the first half of their first possession, and some pretty good field position. First down for Andover, their first possession here of the second half, on their own 44-yard line. Snap is to Mapson. Handoff. Myers cuts back and moves. And Myers not that big of a running back, but very, very strong the way he runs. Low to the turf and very assertive with each cut. Very confident.
Yeah, he's not a big back, but he's a traditional kind of old school high school back, kind of low to the ground, runs strong, runs like a big back.
Audette moves right to left quickly. So merging in with Mapson. Boy, they came in on a blitz that time. And I keep surveying the field. I have not seen their key linebacker in cost number 42. It looks like he is probably out for the remainder of the game. as I saw the blitz come right up on it, read it well.
Yeah,
and
Xavier Thurston was there at the middle linebacker position, kind of charging in for Sauk Rapids Rice, and they're going to attack the ball, which is what they should do. Don't allow them to set up an option.
3rd and 6 now for the Huskies. They almost get those linebackers jumping offside. They'll reset. The snap is back. Mapson looks across. The submerge. He's got it. Good throw over the middle. Audette brings that down, and he's broken a tackle. He'll break another. Almost takes it down to the 7-yard line. The Strong running after the catch that time by Audette. Gives the Huskies a first down for Audette. Catch number 7 on the season, over 200 yards and 1 TD. What a bull run after the catch that time by Audette. Mapson also a great job of walking it up in the pocket. He'll take this one. Keeper right up the middle, touchdown. Boy, excellent execution, excellent blocking. And there you see another player coming right off number 10 there for Sauk Rapids here. Gone deck, looks injured as he's hobbling to the sideline. Huskies now up 37-9, and that drive just took a mere 75 seconds.
Well, they got to the 3rd down and 5, but you're right, Joe. That was a great job by Mapson of just keeping his head up and eyes downfield to make the big completion, and then some broken tackles give Audette a chance to get him inside the 10. And then, from there, it's just easy pickings because Mapson can run whatever he wants to run there, and they get the easy touchdown. And that is exactly what you want if you're Andover. Come out, be efficient, make some big plays, and get yourself extending your lead.
I couldn't think of a better way to start that first possession of the second half. I mean, it's good to score on one play, but they got a few players involved. I like the way that Mapson just reads that pocket. You're right. And he climbs that ladder, head down, so poised, and threw a dart, knew exactly where he wanted to throw that to Audette. And Audette, just a bull when he catches that ball. Bangs off a couple of defenders, takes it down.
I'm surprised they haven't gone to him more often, Joe, because he's a big target, and especially over the middle, you could definitely take some chances every now and again getting it to him.
Kickoff here by Schrader. Finds its way down, and they'll set up here for Sauk Rapids at the 35-yard line. And they get their first possession here of this second half. They now trail 38-9. And we'll get a look and see if there's any changes in that setup. It is Zimmer who comes back as the quarterback.
And Pepin back in as the running back.
Pepin just to the left of Zimmer. There are 3 receivers to the right for the Storm. Storm came in averaging 171 yards a game this year. In the air, 5-4 is a record. Zimmer goes right to work and tries to air this out. Back high point. Disrupted at the last minute as Grease came back to defuse that long pass. Hung up a little too high. Also back there on a safety for the Huskies. You saw number 6.
Winkleman was open, but the ball did come. First of all, it came out a touch late, and it was way too much air under it. Winkleman had to stand under it and wait for it, and when that happens, the defense is able to come back and collapse.
Yeah, a little wind, but not nearly what it was in that first half. You're right, it hung up. Kopetsky also involved in that pass breakup. Now a quick out to the flats. Picked up, and McIntyre Grease just drives, gets leverage just below the numbers on that tackle as he closed up on that quick out.
I like that pass play a little better, though, because you're getting that out quickly with some zip, right? And that's Winkleman who's able to catch it. And it's just a little 3-step run, right? It's a little quick route. Throw it to him on a little bit of a nice rhythm passing play and get Zimmer going for a 3rd and short.
And sometimes they may get used to making those throws to Amoki, who can come down with it, but that's not the pass. You have a run up the middle. They could not pick up the 3 yards for the first down on that run. In fact, they take it about a yard short. They'll spot it here at about their own 43-yard line, and they come up to the line ready. Maybe seeing if they can draw Andover offside. This is 4th and about a yard and a half for Sauk Rapids. The Storm, I think, really trying to draw the Huskies off. but some hard counts. 15 seconds still left on the play clock. They'll reset. They'll take the snap. They move it around to the right side. Pepin, and coming in to try to get that tackle was Grease, but not before Pepin was able to spin cycle his way to a first down. And now it will be a possession at the 47-yard line. They're on that first down.
And you have to go pick up that first down for Sauk Rapids, right? So you got to go for it here. You're no punting right now. You have got to go and be aggressive, and they get that first down. That's a nice job there by Sauk Rapids Rights, utilizing the running game, getting players involved. And now they look back and see what they call here as they make their changes at the line.
But you're right, that quick out, that quick spin pass getting out there is so different than others that have happened here. Here's one scrambling, and that's going to be a sack again for the Huskies. Zimmer trying to zigzag his way out, ended up in the hands there of the Huskies defender, and Kyle Mock has a sack.
Yeah, it was a great job there by Mock in pursuit. And again, if you're Zimmer, you don't want to be wandering backwards 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You know, now you're setting up 2nd and 20. You're way behind the chains again. Play took too long to develop.
And the play still getting singled in here with about 12 seconds left on the play clock. Finally, Zimmer moves the receivers and positioning a tight end from right to left. Snap comes, rolls left, looks across. There's the out. Completed. Nice play. Omaki picks it up, and there's that play. There's that run. Throw to the left, crisp toss, reception, forge it ahead. This is going to bring 3rd and 8 now for Sauk Rapids.
Yeah, see, this is the kind of stuff I want to see them run all game. It's got to be 3 steps and out. You cannot hold on to the ball longer than 3 seconds, and you can't wander around the pocket. Plant your foot in the ground and get that ball out there. And when you do, you find that you're getting things happening in rhythm with success. That time Amoki had some room. They made up some ground. Now it's 3rd and manageable.
Amoki all alone. Bottom goes up, and getting a sack is Caleb Wyko. Oh, my, another sack. He just pushed his way through this 6'2", 240-pound linebacker who just dominates, continues his way, and Huskies defense continuing to show their stuff. At least 4th and about 14, a punting situation here for a team down already 38-9, the Storm.
Yeah, you have to punt now, unfortunately, but that was great pursuit by Weichel. Not much the quarterback could do there as he was in his lap within about a second.
A nice bounce and set and touch there at the 20, and that's where Andover gets their 2nd possession here of the second half. But they just really, on that defensive stance, it was Weichel. They create that gap. He got through there, and he just bear hugged Zimmer down to the turf.
And that's where I said, just nothing for Zimmer to do there. As soon as he got back and was ready to put his foot in the ground, Weichel was all over him. So that was really impressive. Weichel this year has been, good. 2.5 sacks, yes, but it's all those tackles for loss, right? It's all those plays that he makes as a disruptor from that linebacker position.
Mapson takes the snap and hands this off to Myers. Myers gets on the horse and drives it ahead for a pickup of about 4 on first down. Myers, a punt return. He took one to the house on a 73-yard punt return. First carry of the game for him from 57 yards out, he took to the house. And he's just that kind of a burst runner. You see very little hesitation when he sticks his foot in the turf and makes his cut. It's with conviction.
And that's what you want your running backs to do, right? Run low, get behind the blocks, but run full blast. When you hit the hole, make sure it's at max speed. And you got to run angry a little bit.
3rd and 2. Quick pitch out to Myers. He's going to have to cut back here. Finds the seam, gets the first down, and tripped up at about the 35. He gets to the 36, but not before getting that first down. That time he was trying to get around the end, stuck that foot in the turf, and cut right back up. And you're right, Tim, that was with conviction.
You want to make sure that you are running aggressively at this stage of the game, and that's what Myers is doing.
Quick out here. Good snap throw out to the corner. Here's some chance and more. Continuing down the field, making his way all the way to about the 25-yard line. That was some major yak. A good, clean catch. And a pickup there.
Weigert, I think, who had that one. I
Correct.
think that was, as he was just, again, on these little smoke routes, which is really high percentage for Mapson, right? Gave him a one-step drop. He catches it right in the shotgun, and it's just a one-step throw. And it's a quick out to the wide receiver. And again, it's a game, right, where you're asking those other receivers with him and tight ends to go out and block and just create an alley up the far sideline, which they were able to do.
Big time gain of about 30 yards plus, considered an explosive play there. That pass has to come with some zip on it because you can't wait for that thing to get there as the defenders are closing in. And Mapson, a great job of getting that ball
Get an
out
extended
to Weigert.
help with the penalty there, too, and adds on to that. And now it's first and not quite goal, but pretty close.
He'll set it up at the 13. Mapson's going to look to throw to the end zone. He's got a receiver, but Mapson on that back foot was getting hit as he released it. He was trying to get it to Brady Jensen. Jensen this year had been averaging 26 yards a catch, 15 for 404 TDs.
Ethan Elwood had a late break on that ball. Otherwise, that could have gone the other way quickly. That was a wounded quail from Mapson.
Second down now for Andover. At the 13, Mapson's going to hold on to this. He finds a seam, cuts back, and he's in the house. Another house call there for Joseph Mapson. A touchdown puts the Huskies now up 44-9 with 4:52 to remain here in the third quarter. It's been a dominant performance here today by Andover.
Yeah, that's going to get them where they need to be now, up big. And Mapson, again, so good inside the 15-yard line there. You see how far he ran before he even got touched? He just made one guy miss, but it was 7-8 yards from the line of scrimmage. You give a quarterback that kind of room to run, I mean, it's over.
Caden Hansen on the extra point. Snap, spot, the kick is good. Andover now at 45-9. You say you can always tell that quarterback or the running back who has some potential just by the timing and the poise in which they run. And he doesn't look like he's ever panicking.
No.
He looks like, hey, I've got the hole here. I'm going to get it. I'm not going to zip there. I'm comfortable with the timing, the blocking scheme. And plus with that size, about 185.
I like that, too, for a junior especially. I mean, these are the things that you hope to have a quarterback grow into when they become seniors. And he's got that right now.
Complete effort here so far for the Huskies as they have now jumped to a big-time lead at 45-9 with 4:52 to go here in this third quarter.
A really good start to this second half from Andover. They have come out and really cleaned everything up, and they are playing some really good football here out of the locker room.
Chipped up, then gathered at the 20, moving in ahead, slicing, dicing, spinning, and finally taken down after a return of about 11 yards on that return by Sabraski. Senior, 5'10", 155-yard receiver. He's had a couple catches here today as well.
Yeah, Zabraski, Amoki is the athlete that you look at and you pay attention to. Zabraski's made a couple of big plays, though, in this game for Sauk Rapids Rice, and Zimmer clearly likes him as a target, especially down the middle in those seam routes.
Zimmer back out there, left all alone, empty backfield to get it to Omaki, and Omoki here takes it across. And again, that's a great play. I enjoy watching that offensive play, but you got a guy that big, Omoki.
And that's going to come back. I think it's going to be a hold on Sauk Rapids Rice as the pressure was coming in quickly on Zimmer. Oh, it's personal foul instead. Ooh, it's a late hit on the quarterback, so that's going to tack 15 on more to this.
I think Tremaine Davis picked that up. A good center screen that time set up by intended for Hudson Omoki, a 6'3", 180-pound wide receiver, headed to some D1 ball next year. You can see why. I've got to get that ball in his hands as often as I can.
Yeah, he's made some big plays for them.
And I'm sure they're aware of that, as are the opponents. But they will have it set here. Couple of interceptions for Andover also today. series of sacks and going deep. Here goes Zimmer again, trying to hit it, elevating up top, bringing it down and incomplete. Just so close on completing that pass.
Might have jumped a half second too early was
Winkleman
there because he had it. But he was on the way down when it hit him in the hands, right? So he didn't quite high point it, but a really nice throw and a good chance there for Sauk Rapids Rights to go deep. They're not shy about it. They're going to throw the deep ball.
But those intermediate routes are ones that are really getting the momentum for them offensively.
Yeah, that's what's worked. As much as they love to throw the deep ball, they need to throw more of these kind of middle routes, these intermediate routes, because that's where they have been able to find the soft spots in the defense.
There's Zimmer, gave a couple of hard barks. Now they pull back and get another look at the offensive play scheme. Timeout is called. There are just 3 seconds left on the play clock, and that's a lot of time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time to put something together there.
Sauk Rapids again, 34-12 win last week over Duluth East last Tuesday. I gave them a record also of 5-4 on the season. The two teams met earlier this year. That was a 41-17 win for Andover. Andover in that game led just 13-10 at half. Last year, they also met Andover. Picked up a win on that game, 29-8 scoreless at half was that game. But you're seeing right now it transpiring. 3-0 is what the Huskies are looking to go against Sauk Rapids and trying to advance to the section championship next week against Elk River. I'm assuming Elk River. I haven't heard a score yet.
But that seems to be, by all accounts, what they were thinking you would see. So it's not a leap to suggest that that's what everybody is thinking.
Especially since that's been the equation the last previous section championships. Easy for me to define. Rolling out, getting some time. We got a holding penalty is coming up, and clubbed by.
And that's going to be a helmet to helmet target hit, something like that too.
There's a flag party on the field.
And
see at least 3.
Yeah, Chris Pepin got absolutely lit up on this play. And if this is helmet to helmet, we'll see what they call here at the end. But yeah, he's down again on the far side. And that's got some angry fans on both sides, really. Neither side's super happy.
As head coach Ken Weichel gets his team over, the defensive unit uses that time as kind of a mini timeout. You hope certainly that Pepin is okay. He's absorbed a leg injury, and you hope this is not a head injury. But
he's definitely taken some shots.
The initial flag that was whistled and brought into play anyway was a holding penalty.
3 penalties. So the two defenseless.
I think he's got that wrong.
I think he's got that wrong. Yeah. I was going to say you have to. So what we're going to get here, I'm assuming, is a. I mean, I might need him to re-explain all of that to me. I got to be honest with you, Joe. I have no idea. We have 3 penalties.
Tremaine Davis here they've taken him out. That was his second. Maybe roughing the passer, and as many times that they've been playing some D.
And kind of didn't love his response coming to the bench, throwing some stuff, kind of.
Coach Weichel having a conversation with him right now. But all said and done, it comes back to first down for Sauk Rapids on the Andover 30-yard line. Those are a lot of syllables for 3 flags.
Yeah, no kidding. A lot going on there to explain all of that, but it's a first down anyway.
Zimmer up the middle, cutting inside, touchdown. Sauk Rapids Again, another well-thrown ball, but the timing perfect as Sabraski that time found his way and cut right in front of the defense
Yeah,
and the safety.
Sabraski's been a tough guy to cover for Andover, no doubt about that. And again, these are the little things that maybe today aren't going to hurt you if you're Andover, but down the road, they've committed a lot of 15-yard penalties in this game. Way too many. You have got to be more disciplined, especially when you have a team pinned down like this. You just got to take care of business and play football. And just way too many mistakes, way too many just silly personal foul penalties. Again, other teams are going to get you beat.
Going for the 2-point conversion here. Zimmer looks to his left and this time cuts it inside and throws it to a more prime target
That should have
on
been
that
had,
slant.
too. They should have got that one. That's crazy that he didn't hang on to that. Must have threw it a little behind him.
Oh, that actually looked right where you want it. Just
yeah.
You're starting to head down to your knee and corralling it. So they've dropped many as well, but it is the Storm who convert on that drive and get the touchdown pass from Zimmer. And that's to Zabraski. So now at 45-15, the Huskies will get their third possession here of the third quarter. I'm assuming an onside kick may be coming to a theater near us
I would
as
have
well.
to assume that you will be seeing some of that because, again, it's all about just possessing the ball. Right now, if you're Sauk Rapids Rice, you need to have possessions, but a good answer for them. And, again, where do they get the answers? Yes, on penalties, but they also get it on nice, over-the-middle, intermediate 10, 15-yard routes. When they run those, it seems like it's open all day.
Absolutely. Here's the kickoff, picked up and dropped, and now Myers picks it back up
This worked
at
well
the
last
10.
time.
I was going to say the last time he dropped it, it was a very fortuitous return. This time the same thing, back to about the 40. Didn't take it to the house, but he had a nice return to about the 39-yard line, and Andover heads their way that way. But you're right. You know, when you're throwing those precision passes, timing patterns, it just does it. There's a thing that they always say, the rhythm of the game. And as a quarterback, you want to get your team into that.
Well, he just looks comfortable on those routes, too, right? He doesn't look like he's comfortable just heaving back and firing 40-yard balls downfield because it doesn't look like it's in rhythm. It doesn't look comfortable. But when he's just standing there upright in the pocket and he's just throwing these darts over the middle, he looks poised, calm. It's just a very different quarterback.
Handoff to the gap. Working this. Gravink. Big carry. Caught from behind. Found the gap. Took advantage of it. And takes the ball down to the 20-yard line. A pickup that time of about 40 yards for Gravink.
And a
His
30-point
longest
game.
carry of the year.
And that's, again, they get the big plays. That's the kind of the yin and the yang of Andover, right, is that they've committed some penalties and some mistakes, but, man, do they get explosive plays in the offense.
Inside, and I think it's all part of the process, right? All part of the system. That they come back. They're not coming back with a trick play or some other bomb, but it's really more back to the offense, precision offense already with their second string quarterback in there.
Yep.
Today is chance there for Kirchner, Jackson Kirchner, a sophomore. Gets a look, gets a run, and it's a touchdown for the Huskies.
Just slinging it out to Aiden Weigert on a slant. And that was just a brilliantly thrown ball for the young sophomore. And they get a quick answer from that touchdown.
They got the ball with 4:05 after that kickoff.
I mean,
it takes them 4 plays to take it to the house and move this up to 51-15.
Big explosive plays have been a huge difference in the game. It really has been. One side, I mean, Andover's been able to, when they've needed it, whether it's been the punt return, whether it's been some of these long running plays, they've had these big, gashing 20, 30, 40-yard plus plays, and after a while, you just can't compete with all of that.
52-15. Our score here at 3:05 to go in this third quarter. The Huskies led 31-9 at half.
Yeah, 21 points in this third quarter, and it's been fairly easy to do. A 21-6 third quarter. A lot of possession of the ball here. A lot of moving up and down the field.
And, you know, it's kind of what you see not only with the Huskies, the reason why they have success, and Coach DeVellis and the culture that he brings also here as the head coach. It's just they stay the process. You see it with Elk River, right? Everyone says, "Oh, Power T, what are you doing? How can you turn around and score so quick?" Stay the process, and then they burst it. And Andover there answered, went back to their strength, quick running play off tackle.
What was the old? It was the old lawyer here in Minnesota who said, "It's all I do, and I do it well." I mean, that is what these teams have done, right? And I think that's what any good team does. They say, "Look, these are the 10 things that we do, the core things that we do, and we're going to do these things really, really, really well. And it doesn't matter what the other side does defensively. If we do our stuff well, we'll be fine."
And you look at Kirchner, who just came in, the sophomore. What's the play? What's the process? Slant in, hits the receiver in stride. Boom.
Same stuff.
It's
Nothing's
the process.
changed.
And
Nothing has changed.
They do a great job of getting those quarterbacks prepped here at in Andover. Now dropping back, Zimmer wants to throw it. Now he pulls it back, and that's always been bad news all day for him. And he throws this one towards a couple of the cheerleaders who were not ready for that pass.
Now, at least they were looking at the field.
They were in the area.
They were ready to go.
But catching passes may not be part of that pregame routine.
Yeah, it may not be. Yeah, I don't know if they go throw a lot of, they don't throw it around to each other often, I don't think.
250. Once Zimmer got chased from that pocket, though, immediately you could tell out of flow, right?
Yeah, when
out
the ball's not out right away in that 3 seconds, that's when everything kind of stops. And it's really more just about survival at that point.
Zimmer looks to the side here as the clock is stopped. I thought that we had running time maybe up.
Not till the fourth, I don't believe.
52-15 lead here for the Huskies. Late into the third. Rolling left, looking to throw.
That ball had to come out way faster than that.
And this one is dangerously incomplete. Throwing across his body, backing up. And that time Kopetsky was looking to get a pick, but he got the breakup and the incomplete pass, leaving 3rd and 10.
Zimmer got the pump fake he wanted for Amoki on the near side, but then he didn't throw the little fade route after that. He did the pump fake, Amoki went, and then he went the other way with it. It's like, nah, now that you've pump faked it, now go fire. Once you have that double move, Amoki put the double move on, and he was open.
Set now 3rd and 10 as Tim Anderson has been, pushing that double move action here in the broadcast booth here this afternoon on a Saturday. Now, right there, good pass. And, hey, incomplete, great defensive set. Kopetsky there to break it up. But even that throw is in just the timing of it, right? He steps up, had a good throw. You're wondering where that is on first and second.
Play, better defense. Kopetsky makes a really good defensive play there to stop that. But I like that call.
As they get ready here, the Huskies starting to get into their depth chart. A good thing here is because 4th down on this punt, the last thing you want are injuries heading to a section championship battle next week. Finally, we get a little bounce there for Sauk Rapids on a high-struck punt with 2:26 to play in this third quarter. I'm sure Kirchner will hustle on out again. And we'll see what the strategy here for the Huskies is. I'm sure it's, hey, stay in your lane, dude.
Absolutely.
Stay in your lane and keep with it.
2:26 till we get to that running time of the fourth quarter. So this is just about let's run our stuff. And now they go another quarterback in here as it looks like it's Drew Bryant.
Drew Bryant hands this off. Gravink again. Colin with that carry. He had that 40-yard run last possession.
Maybe he just gets a half yard that time. But this is, again, just all about chewing on clock. I don't anticipate any real crazy pass plays. I mean, they will maybe throw it to keep their guys, interested, these backups in, because you want to see what they can do. You want to have them execute the offense. But I expect that they will run play clock down as far as they can. You won't see them be hustling to the line.
And these reps are that much more valuable as well. Moving to the outside and corralled. Brought down after our pickup. Just about there of about 2 on the play there. Drew Bryant, 6'4", 215-pound quarterback. That good size you like as a QB. Quickly back in again as Jackson Kirchner. To lead this 3rd down and 7.
Try to watch the 3 coaches calling the signals, but they're all mixing the signals, trying to make sure that nobody can pick up what they're doing.
Kirchner looks back, throws a pass. Beautiful interception. Coming back. Had to wait for the ball, and by that time, you could see the cornerback that time just sitting there waiting for that ball to get tossed, and kind of read the pattern, read the eyes, but that's okay. Hey,
and I know it's 3rd down, and you want to try to pick up the first. I would just run that right there. Get to the end of the 3rd quarter. Then you can get to running time. You punt. And you can start to kind of shorten the game up. But now what you did is extend the game and give Sauk Rapids Rights the ball in good field position.
Pepin with that pickoff. Trying to extend the play, moving to the right, complete it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mason Sabraski has been super impressive in this game. I mean, obviously Amoki gets all the headlines, and rightfully so, but Sabraski makes a lot of plays in this offense for the Storm.
They'll set the ball. Going out of bounds, stops the clock. 40 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter at the 35-yard line of Andover. A quick fake, and now a pick opportunity. It is picked off on the 2nd deflection. Going to Kopetsky. Wanted to take it the distance, and a shoestring tackle brings him down. And there was an initial quick slant pattern. Defense gets their hands up, and then a 2nd deflection. Leaves it in the hands of Kopetsky, who brings it in, and the Huskies get the ball right back again.
Yeah, the Storm had it on the 2nd deflection. This is where you want to just try to knock it on the ground if you can. But instead, it gets tipped backwards, and it goes right to Kopetsky's hands, and you give it right back.
Kirchner leads his team back out again. I would say the over-under odds in Vegas is a running play on this one.
I would agree.
Towards the head, Gravink. Doing an excellent job. First, you got to hold on to that ball because you got a lot of guys wanting to punch that thing out. And then just any type of way to knock it loose. So he's picking up that. He already picked up 8 on that carry. He's already got him for 60 on the game for Gravink, who just came in here.
I don't expect them to run a play here. This will be the end of the 3rd.
We are at the end of 3 complete. The Huskies running away with this one. A 52-15 lead after 3 complete. Andover over the Storm. 4th quarter coming your way in a moment.
According to the U.S. Department of Justice, an average of 24 people per minute are victims of rape, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner, totaling more than 12 million people in the United States every single year. Domestic, sexual, or relationship violence is never your fault, and everyone deserves a relationship free from violence. The advocates at Alexandra House know that abuse comes in many forms, and that any behavior used to control, intimidate, or cause fear is abusive. If you or someone you know needs help, we're here to listen with confidential support 24/7, 365.
Back here for the start of the 4th quarter. Thanks, CJ, back in the studio, doing a great job. A handoff ahead here to Gravink. first down, and they'll start the clock back again. 52-15. The lead here for Andover as they'll run this clock.
Yeah, our QCTV crew all over the area today covering different things. Thanks to John being here today with us, being our point man at Andover High School, and CJ back in the studio.
Excellent shots here up top, and camera work by John, and that setup especially. And again, as you said, CJ back in the studio, keeping this, getting outside enough for a pickup of maybe 2-3 yards. But as you mentioned, this fourth quarter, we got running time. 52-15 and 31-9. It kind of appeared that the game was in hand at that time at half, but the Huskies have gone full throttle in that third quarter and put up 3 more touchdowns. Sauk Rapids picked one up themselves, unable to convert on the 2-point conversion.
And they are going to play, again, a lot slower here in this fourth quarter. Just try to bleed this clock out and get out of here.
Drew Bryant getting ready to take the snaps. I know I say it time and time again, but you can practice and you can get that time. And here's a long run again, breaking it right up the middle. Boy, that's process written all over it, doesn't it? Just here's the gap, here's the A gap, here's this side of the A gap, here's the blocking scheme. We got to do it every time. What's the old thing? It's like Novocaine.
Well, this is
the old time it works.
This is what the offensive line wants to do, and this is what they've been doing all game long, is establishing the new line of scrimmage, 3 and 4 yards ahead, really pushing back this Storm defensive front.
Huskies, after taking a tough loss to end the regular season, but boy, that was a offensive juggernaut in that game against Robbinsdale Armstrong, have come back showing their stuff again here in the semifinals of this section playoff game. The winner advances for the section final. It appears to be at this point that it's going to be Andover in their 4th straight section championship.
And they'll certainly be a tough out and tough to deal with.
This also the 40th win for head coach Tom DeVellis. 40-8 now with a stint at Andover. Certainly, as we mentioned before, plenty of success in years with Blaine prior to this role with Andover. So congratulations, Coach Tom DeVellis, for that 40th win for him. He's just probably more on the focus. Let's get ready. Let's get everyone out. Let's get some reps, but let's get out of here healthy, and let's get ready for next week. Last year, his team, he led them to kind of the highest achievement they've had as a football program. Semifinals of the state tournament in a crazy game that was epic proportion, losing to Chanhassen in overtime. Chanhassen won the next game for the state championship for 5A. Here's a chance now. Kirchner finds his seam and delivers. Beautiful maneuvering. Had the seam, wasted no time, knew exactly, and with conviction.
Well, once again,
another touchdown.
When the quarterbacks aren't touched, the quarterbacks go 6, 7, 8 yards before they're even met with opposition. And then after that point, it's just one cut, and you're into the end zone. And Kirchner just picking up where Mapson left off.
You know, and it's again, you get in there, you watch, you get the practices, and now you get the play time. And that's really where it helps you with practices are great, but there's nothing like the pressure of a game, right?
You're absolutely right.
The sounds are different. The other players are barking at you. There's a different tempo to the game. Snap, spot, the kick here is up, and it appears good. No, it was wide.
Just wide, yeah. This is one of those things, too, where we talked about this last night in the Anoka game where you got to see, sophomores like Blake Sieben and Bergen play in the game, and you go, you're going up against varsity guys on the other side, though. So it's a different speed that you're used to, different sizes. These aren't just small 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds you're playing against in the JV and sophomore games. These are the grown-ups, almost adults out here that you're having to run against, and the game is faster. And to get used to that speed, even in games like this, really, really important.
Thanks for joining us on this audio only broadcast right now. As my understanding is after midnight, maybe early tomorrow morning, they will bring the video in with this broadcast as well. But thanks for joining us this afternoon on QCTV. Joe Ruland here along with the Tim Anderson, as Tim was just calling last night's game for Anoka. A blowout there as Anoka advances to the next round of the state tournament.
Yeah, our viewing area is pleased.
Champlain Park picks up the win as well for the Rebels. So a trifecta for the three teams in this coverage area. All pick up wins in the first round of their playoffs. And return there for Sauk Rapids.
A lot going on, as we mentioned. Today, the Grand Day Parade up in Anoka, the ambassador coronations tonight. We got volleyball playoff action still with teams alive, both Champlain and Anoka, all three football teams still in it. Winter sports just a few weeks away. A lot going on here, Joe.
And I believe it's the 30th, the Wednesday, when we go to U.S. Bank to cover the semifinals of the state soccer tourney. I believe that we, myself, and Pete Hayes, and a chance on that call as the Andover Huskies. Impressive win over Minnetonka. Minnetonka was 16-1-1 before the Huskies picked up that 3-2 win last week to advance to the semifinals. So you can join us for that as well. That's one of the many elements, as you said, of section and postseason play that begins for a lot of the teams in the QCTV area. Faking handoff, a throw behind Zimmer. That time, just a bit of hesitation. You could tell on that throw. It's just funny how everything is. It's timing. It's about flow. It's tempo. It's everything. Everything is into that.
It's like he didn't have a full
rhythm.
grip of it on the laces either, right? It looked like almost just kind of like a shot put out of his hands. Amoki wasn't quite ready for that. And now it sets up a 3rd and long.
Certainly concludes an impressive career also for Amoki, wide receiver here for Sauk Rapids. Zimmer takes the snap, looks across, wants to go deep. He will throw deep. Amoki goes back up, back shoulder toss, completion.
Yeah, Jalen Hansen
No,
did
they
it.
called it incomplete.
Oh,
They said he
incomplete.
dropped
Oh, I thought he had it. And he must not have been able to corral that thing. I thought he came back, got it, and made a football move. Not a huge crowd on the student section, unless they've maybe all started heading home here, but a good parent crowd on a Saturday afternoon. A little tougher to get the students out sometimes on a Saturday, and the increased cost of a section event.
Very true. My bad, that was not Amoki on that last attempt, as you're right.
Oh, not a great punt
Jalen,
here.
and then Andover and punt. 5.
And that'll keep the clock rolling as they change out possession. 5 minutes and 20 seconds to go here, Joe.
We'll see what transpires. Anoka's next game for football is what?
It's going to be Friday, Lakeville South, it looks like, as Lakeville comes up to make the drive, as I mentioned last night. Not sure how many times the folks in Lakeville have made the trip to Anoka, but that'll be an interesting one. Lots of stuff to pay attention to, as we mentioned. Again, winter sports just around the corner here on QC, and we hope you stay tuned for all of it. Meanwhile, back to work goes Andover, and Andover's trying everybody at quarterback now. As Owen Schmitz is getting some run at quarterback.
I was trying to get the update. It looks it will be against Elk River. They have a pretty convincing lead at this point. My understanding, about 47-14.
The
Similar
exit
to
polls
the
show
score
that
here.
you can call that race.
Yes, good. Boy, that's coming up, isn't
Well,
it?
that's why I forget. Just kind of getting
Thank
the
you.
mood for it
Thank
here
you.
for that. Yeah.
This just in, yes. It will be Andover taking on Elk River in a section final. In Elk River. In fact,
Schmidt's a big, tall kid, gives it to Noah Anderson.
so last year, keep in mind, Andover beat Elk River in the regular season, 65-32. Then they beat them in the section championship, 63-56. Then in so Andover advanced, right? So then 2022, what happens? Elk River beat Andover in the regular season and then lost to Elk River by 2 points, 51-49 in the section championship. Elk River went on, and they not only went on, but they won the state tournament for Class 5A. 2021, Andover beat Elk River 28-13 in the regular season, which meant what? Andover would win that section, which they did in 2021. And
so you're saying there's patterns there,
there's an algorithm, yes. And then in 2020, Andover beat Elk River in the regular season 22-7, but there was no postseason play that year in 2020. But there will be this year. As I mentioned, the fourth consecutive time Andover will meet up with Elk River for the section championship.
Clock continues to roll here. 4th down, and Andover will just kind of go for it with the hopes of just keeping things rolling here with 2:40 to play. Oh, bad snap.
That snap through, turning, and suddenly converging, almost triangulating that time on the Andover quarterback. By the time he was able to get that snap through the hands under control, Drew Bryant goes as a sack.
And Ackerman is going to come in and play here this last drive. I think just to kind of put the just to give them something positive here at the end. I'm assuming he won't take a ton of risks here with 2 minutes to play, but definitely wanted to get him section time here this evening.
1:50 remaining. He's going to throw out and roll to the right, in and out.
That's 2 drops there from Hanson Didadet in a row.
You could tell that he was pretty pumped just to get out there, participate. Spencer Ackerman. He got out of there. Again, injured thumb. My understanding, they had to have a pin placement on that thumb and finally had it removed later, just late last week. So he's probably been looking forward to getting some playing time. And he has it here. Drops back, goes yard, and gets hit hard.
Big hit there. He'll peel himself off, and a late flag.
Yeah, I thought there was interference that time on Andover just as they reached in. As the receiver was trying to come back for that ball.
So they stopped the clock with 1:07 on this. So they called, pass interference in the defense. So that'll extend us out a little bit further, seeing if Ackerman can get them into the end zone.
At the 20, here comes the snap. Ackerman across the middle, incomplete.
And that gets running time resuming with about a minute to go, Joe.
You are correct. The players hustling in and out. They try to get as many reps as they can with these players in the practices. This one, he's going to just throw up, and it's a touchdown. 40 seconds, 41 left. On his heels, he tosses that up. And coming back to the ball for the reception is Tyson Newville Larson, a senior, 175-pounder.
I mean, that didn't look aesthetically pleasing, but it certainly worked, and it got him a score.
58-21. Ackerman, 1 for 3, and now the touchdown pass. The first ball caught was a touchdown.
That's a procedure penalty.
Goodness.
Oh, man, that's really been the night for Sauk Rapids Rice, right? They get the score, momentum, things are great, and then penalty or a turnover or something will happen where they're not able to build upon one big play. And that now backs them up for this 2-point conversion all the way back out to the 7-yard line.
Ackerman ready to take the snap. Drop back, looks to his right, now runs to his left, trying to extend the play. He'll need to take it all the way. He cannot control it as he's knocked out of bounds. So no 2-point conversion there for Sauk Rapids. 58-21 lead as they get ready for, you would think would be the final kickoff of the game. Onside kick, what are the Vegas numbers on that?
I don't know if that would make a lot of sense at this point, but
Andover fans.
Student sections have basically cleared out, or they're ready to at least head to the field.
Congratulations to the Andover Huskies as they advance to the finals. Section 5A, Section 5A. And they'll be playing Elk River. That score not official. Not completely done, kind of similar to this one. Congratulations to Coach Tom DeVellis. Picks up win number 40 here with the Huskies. Now a mark of 40-8. And impressive the culture he has built kind of through the years as well. You see it with the players, the commitment, and you see it really on their process and their offensive strategy and defense as well. Take pride in all of it. A nice defensive effort as well for the Huskies, of course. Grease with the pickoff, Peterson with one, Kopetsky with one as well. And of course, Baba with an impressive outing as well on defense as Caleb Weichel picks up a series of tackle for losses in addition to some sacks as well, but a whole team effort. So
yeah, he played well.
Andover
and now
will not need to take a snap here as this game.
They're asking him to stop the clock here, and so they will.
They will. I think they thought that was the conclusion. But the players are all lining up for the handshakes.
So clock will start on the snap now.
Huskies take home this 58-21 win here from the Husky Stadium. Congrats as they head to the section championship taking place next weekend.
And they will take that knee right there, Joe.
And Tim, your final thoughts on this game?
You know, I'll tell you what. The explosive plays are there for the Tornadoes, or not the Tornadoes, the Huskies. I can tell what I'm getting used to calling, but the explosive plays are there in the running game and in the passing game. They make plays. Now, the question for them is going to be, can they clean up some of the little things, right? The pre-snap penalties, the 15-yard penalties. Can you clean those things up against a team that's going to be very disciplined in Elk River? It's going to be a very physical game, and these two teams know each other very well. And I'm interested to see how that plays out next week.
Well, the Storm season comes to an end. They end at 5-5 on the season as they drop the section semifinal matchup against Andover by a score of 58-21. Thank you for joining us, everyone, via live audio and video coming soon to a theater near you here, probably tomorrow sometime. But I'm Joe Rulin along with Tim Anderson. Thanks for joining us. Have a Major League evening at a minor league price, and thanks to the team as well. Helped us here with this broadcast. Thank you.
This material is property of the Minnesota State High School League. No downloading, saving, or archiving of this production is permitted.